Good.
Alright, I guess first of all, I'd like to know why did you decide to get the coaching?
I was really impressed with your Echo perspective, and I I think I can get I'm pretty solid with Echo, but I think that I would like to just fine tune and know where I'm doing wrong so I can climb as fast as possible.
Makes sense. Okay. What's your goal this season, like rank wise?
Well, I think realistically I can get high Emerald or else
Mm-hmm.
either or probably low Diamond, honestly. I'm
Yeah,
climbing
I was about to say. I
really
feel like
fast.
should higher, man. I think like diamond should be possible.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think I'm climbing fairly fast.
yeah. I mean, what do you think your biggest weakness at the moment is?
I notice my late game doesn't do very well, or my transition to the late game maybe.
In what
I
way?
start, yeah. I feel like I get real strong and then I can't play in a way that just wins. Like,
You're just another impact in the late game.
yeah, or when I do, then it's like I can't really. I have an issue of knowing what to do next, I feel, or
Mm-hmm.
having the right idea of how to close it up because I
Yeah.
get pretty high leads fairly often.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty common issue, I guess, for like most players in general in your elo, just like knowing how to actually close out games, and like that's the
Yeah.
differences in these elos, and that's for sure something I will be able to help you with.
Oh, that's
Like it's
good.
it's mostly about like taking opportunities that you maybe are either too scared or you just genuinely don't know that you could be taking, I guess. Like maybe also
Yeah, I
knowing your
think that's
limits a
a
little
big
bit.
thing.
Like, have you played Echo in past seasons as well?
This is my first season. I
Really?
started this game in November, or else right around Worlds I started this game.
Like
But I
just
have
starting
had,
League?
yeah. So I played, I got like a skin in like 2017, so I know I played a couple normals back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I played like Annie or something. It's been so long I couldn't remember, but I only played for like a week or two it seems. But I started really wanting to play this game around November, and I hadn't really played it much before then.
Have you played
So I
any
just,
other like similar games like Dota or something? Because I mean
yeah.
that's pretty
So
impressive. Okay.
I've got, I was okay at Dota,
Mm-hmm.
but I did have experience in Dota, so I understood
Okay.
some of the things. But I really liked the league, so
Yeah, yeah.
I started to pop off here. I've noticed.
Okay. No, I think that's I think that's definitely really good. Like especially if I just imagine like I feel like there's nobody that's like their first MOBA and that they end up platinum in like the first year or whatever. That would be incredibly impressive. But I think it's still obviously kind of
Yeah.
impressive
No,
just switching over.
no, yeah. For sure, I can tell that I was better because I played Dota.
Mm-hmm. So what are like some common mistakes or bad habits that you've noticed in your gameplay?
I throw. I throw often, I feel.
So
Where,
is like just because you let your intrusive thoughts win, basically, or
yeah, or it's like, instead of objectives, it's like, man, I want to go kill. Or
but you
I
know
want
what
to
the
go do
fix
this.
to that is, right? Like you already basically are saying it. It's just like don't do it.
Yeah, but then it's just, Echo makes it so fun to just go
You know,
kill.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I think every Echo man suffers from that. Honestly, it's definitely a thing.
Yeah,
But like the you just need to often it's just like patience and then obviously also just like most of the times when I notice that I'm personally playing bad, it's just I notice that I'm not listening to my like thoughts, you know, like I know what I should be
yeah,
doing, and then you just still do the other thing because it's like maybe more fun, or you thought you could get away with it. But I think you really
yeah,
just
that's
need
for
to start
sure what it
listening
is.
to your thoughts more. Are you doing the Raptors path?
Yeah, I've been
Okay.
doing Raptors Path, but I feel like whenever I start on blue side,
Mm-hmm.
or blue, blue team, then I feel like I get punished a lot more doing Raptors instead of when I
Hmm.
would start Raptors on red because the invades are. But that is only when I gank, and I noticed I stopped recently, but I noticed that I try to force ganks early
Mm-hmm.
after level 3 because again I think it's really fun, but
Yeah.
I've noticed I've kind of stopped that. But
Wait, let me just check something really quick. Actually, you saying that made me like realize that I think I saw like a pattern in my gameplay as well, where like my win rate on red side, yeah, my win rate on red side is like 10% higher than on blue side.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah, I
crazy.
know that. That's probably where I'm
Maybe,
at
and
with it.
I've never thought about the fact that it might actually just be the fact that you're pathing top if you're doing like the Raptors path on blue side.
Yeah, I think it's because normally then you're gonna get invaded if you start bottom side anyways, bottom red
Mm.
buff, but then like it's almost the same timing when you're starting
I mean,
Raptors.
for me, it's really not the invades, honestly. Like, I don't know.
What do you feel like it is for you?
Jesus,
Because
like
I think
I'm just
that's my
looking.
problem.
Wait, like look at. Let me share my screen already, really quick. I just need to because I've. This is the first time that I've actually thought about it this way. Like
Let's
look
see.
at my win rate on this account. It's even worse. Like my blue side win rate
Whoa.
is fucking horrific. And then on this account that I looked at before, on the Echo account, it's also slightly. And then let's see on my last one. It's like it's definitely a
Really?
trend. It's definitely a trend.
Yeah, I've noticed for
Okay,
next
this one
game
is
it's way
the
worse.
other way around, but still, man. I don't know. I mean, this kind of it could just be like too small sample size, but
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, how do I check that? On patterns?
Yeah, I mean, for you it's gonna be different because yeah, for you it's very close because you also played
Easier,
other
yeah.
stuff and it's not just Echo only. But my accounts are mostly
Oh,
Echo only,
true.
so
Oh, yeah, yeah.
definitely.
That's
No,
true.
but that's interesting. I've never even thought about that. I guess the last question I could ask before the OPG is just are you using any jungle timer app?
Yeah,
Okay, that's good.
when you messaged last week, then I got Blitz, and it's, man, they had a lot. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it helps a lot. Okay, I guess so we can get into OPGG then. So what I've noticed is like your farm is really good. Like that's usually something I basically always say in my coaching sessions is like your farm could be a little bit higher. I think for you it's actually very adequate, your farm. Like it's
That's good.
completely I don't think it needs to be any higher. Like it's I've seen like grandmaster players and whatever that have lower average farms, so it's like this is for sure
That's
fine.
good.
I think I'm also around 7. I guess your devs could definitely be lower.
Yeah,
Um,
that's for sure.
yeah, I mean that often is like just letting the intrusive thoughts win and whatever. Of like, and also of course knowing your limit. Like, if this is your first season playing Equity, these are like your first 84 games or whatever. It's like you
There's
need there is a lot like there is a big learning curve. Or maybe you played last split as well, but
yeah, that's what I mean. So I have this season and last season. So whatever season was in November, that's what season I
hmm
started.
yeah. But I
So
mean that's still not a lot of games in the grand scheme of things. Like not at all.
yeah, I started taking X seriously this season.
hmm So yeah, as I said, like I'm just saying, it's like you will automatically get better just by playing more, and it's kind of what the fuck? It's kind of unreasonable to assume
Yeah,
that you can know your limits and whatever perfectly already. But yeah, I think
yeah,
that you definitely have potential, right? Like just with this and the fact that because that's like a thing, it shows me that you seem to have an understanding of like the jungle role in general, which is good. So like you, but mostly will probably just have to work on like your echo stuff and whatever, and that's something I can very easily help you with, or I should
yeah,
be
that'd
able
be
to.
awesome.
I guess item building wise and whatever, I think you don't make many mistakes here. I would say. Let's see, like in this game, for example, maybe the Zonyas I would personally probably not have bought.
Yeah, if I can remember, I think. Let's see, I don't know why I got it, but
Eh,
yeah, there's
yeah, also
stats,
especially
right?
never before Rabadons. Like definitely don't do that.
Okay.
I think generally also this game you didn't have good stats, and I think the more behind you are, the worse it is to buy defensive items, in my opinion. Because if you're in this position, you should usually just look to waste yourself a little bit for your team, right? Like get as much done as possible. So I think just investing into more offensive stats, so you can just like at least get people low or whatever is usually more worthwhile. At least that's my mindset about it. I think buying defensive items is better the more ahead you are because you will still be able to like kill people or one shot them even, and then you still have that
Yeah,
defensive item. So like I
that's what
usually
I kind of was
just.
wondering,
Mhm.
because it just you feel. I felt so weak after I bought that. And I was like, man,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
spent
If
so
you buy it as
much
a
time.
third, that's awful. And in this game, it doesn't even have great value. Like the only time I feel like you should be buying Zonyas is if you're playing against Rengar, like Kha'Zix. These kind of not even Kha'Zix most of the time. Like really just champions where the stasis value is massive. Like of course it can always be good in the late game and whatever to just bait out spells, but yeah, like what I've noticed, especially with most people that I've coached, is like whenever they buy the Zonyas and I look at games of them where they have it, like most of the time they use it and then they just die like right afterwards. So like
Instant die.
yeah,
Yeah.
the value is not even really there. So I guess like the biggest thing is really the deaths, I guess. And then if we look at this, wait, did this update? It was like below average here with the damage dealt. I guess I was about to say I feel like maybe you're a little bit too passive, but it doesn't even really seem that way here. Yeah, okay, like for ranked only, I guess you're a little bit too passive. Could probably just play more aggressive, get more done. Especially if you have this farm, it should mean that you're usually stronger, and you just need to
Yeah.
use that, right? And that's kind of what
For
you said,
sure.
right? Especially in the late game.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to
Yeah,
see
for
the
sure.
late
I'm
game
stronger.
graph as well. Like if it's actually that you lose most of the games in the late game. So yeah, this is how the graph should be looking like. It usually doesn't look like that for most people that I'm coaching, so this is definitely good to see.
That's good.
Yeah, I guess this could still be lower, right? Like if you seem to have good farm, but maybe you just don't take very efficient resets because this could for sure be lower, like the first item purchase. Especially
Lower than 12.
yeah, it can definitely like I think let me just check on my accounts or something. I think I have it on 11 something most of the time. Let me see.
I think I do actually back pretty late a lot of times.
See, like on this account, I have it at like even way above average for master players, even. But like if you have it on this time, it's fine, right? So
Hmm.
I think it can for sure be lower, and especially if you have that good farm, you should be able to have it consistently lower. So you know, I guess we will see. Like this, for example, seems to be fine. Your second item, maybe just stay on the map too long before your first base. So like this definitely is something I feel like you should be taking a look at because it does make a difference, right? Like having your first item, and especially Rocket Belt is such a massive power spike. It allows you to go for so many more kills and like snowball your games. So
Yeah.
let me see objectives. Wow, that's pretty big actually. Damage to turrets. You play Echo mid as well or just jungle?
I have played a mid.
Oh yeah,
A
it
few
says here
times.
6 games.
6
But
games,
that's
yeah.
probably not gonna affect that. It's actually crazy. Like that's a lot of. It seems that because you told me that you feel like you don't play around objectives enough, but like for me these numbers are like below average even. Like that's definitely something I need to improve. But like
Yeah,
because taking turrets is a very good way to win games for sure.
I think that's one thing that carried over from Dota for me for sure is that like it's okay sometimes to just jump in the side lane
Hmm.
to the turret, but I don't know how true that is with
No,
me
that's so
in my
true. Like
position.
it really is, especially when you're in a strong position. Like yes, in low elo you might think it's bad because your team will probably start inting when you're like on the sideline, but you will still win the game even if your team starts in. Like not every single time, but I think generally it's actually very underrated, especially for junglers. Like, of course, as a jungler you need to be careful. You can't really push bot most of the time because people will just take Nash after 20 minutes because it's like such a joke how easy you can take it nowadays. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I've noticed in gold when I climbed through gold like way faster than I climbed through silver, but I noticed in
Hmm.
gold that a lot of people just like to A around mid, and that's where I
Hmm. Yeah, just go on
struggle
the side.
sometimes.
Yeah, I guess that's a very good way to climb, I would say. For sure.
But for sure it's harder in this ring for
I
me a little
guess
bit.
vision could be a little bit higher, but it's not like the most important thing. It's just if you feel like maybe you're sometimes lacking vision, especially when you're like split pushing, whatever, you maybe should be setting up a little bit of vision so you don't get caught as easily. Like Echo's very good at obviously like running away and like making people waste their time chasing you and whatever, and like maybe even outplaying if you're strong enough. But it definitely helps to have good vision with that at least. So like we need to look at all the stuff that you can improve, right? Because farming is definitely something it seems like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
really need to improve that much on, and it's for sure small the vision, but still it's something I guess. Then like the patterns. Let's see the yeah, this is exactly what you said, right? Win game duration, like long games.
Yeah.
It seems like it drops off. Although I'm not sure. I think this just means that you might have not played these long games, or maybe you just played like one game and you just lost it. That's why it's at 0. You
Well,
know.
it seems pretty accurate on the down curve, maybe when it stops at the
Hmm.
line, but this down
Yeah.
first down curve, then it does
This.
seem.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is like a confidence thing. I would even say, just in the late game. Obviously, it's I don't know. We'll see how good your mechanics are. Like having impact in the late game with Echo is about doing like really quick combos and whatever. Because people obviously they have items in the late game that they will also one shot you back basically. So you just need to have the confidence and the like skill to back it up to just like pick people off and whatever. But Ekko is quite good at that, right? He has his W, he has his ult to like get out after doing it, even if he fucks up, of course. Where like other assassins, they might engage, and then if they don't get the kill, they just die. But like Ekko, at least he has his W, he has his passive procs that give him massive movement speed and this kind of stuff. So there's a lot of outplay potential, but yeah. Yeah, I guess the only thing I also just like to mention every time is just like the surrendering, which doesn't seem to be a problem for you. I think Ekko is not like a champ you should be surrendering with a lot, because he has incredible...
I stopped doing it for sure when I watched, I think, one of your videos, when you just like, don't surrender because Ekko can take back. So I figured, you know, what's the harm? I started to a lot less.
It's definitely good. I guess you can just go in game. I don't think, like, in your elo it should be fine. I don't think we need to, especially since you have good farm and whatever. I assume that you can do the path.
Yeah, let's see.
Fine.
Okay.
I'm actually not sure. Yeah. I'm actually not sure if I should just be writing down your stuff or if I should give you more active advice during game. Do you have any preference there?
I think I like the idea of writing down because I don't want it to go over my head.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Let's see here.
It's like in lower elos, I always just write it down because people get overwhelmed. Like, I mean, you're also not high elo, right? You're just platinum, but it's like in like lower elos than that, I feel like people often get overwhelmed very easily. But I feel like at diamond or like at the diamond probably is the thing where I would start coaching more actively. I think it makes sense.
Okay, let's see.
Alright. So what do you usually ban?
Kha'Zix right now. Even after the nerfs to... Did he get nerfed or did his items get nerfed?
No, his Q got nerfed a bit, yeah. Yeah, his win rate in Emerald or whatever, it's still good. In Master, it actually dropped off quite a bit. Interestingly enough, it seems like...
That's what I figured. He's still super...
Yeah, it's like if he gets fed, he's still like a disgusting assassin, of course. It's just like, it seems to be like a little bit more difficult to get fed with him now. That's basically it.
That makes more sense. I did notice he's not as much as a problem, but I guess I have been banning him. But at the same time, he was a mess for me.
No, I've also played that much of a bunch, and it's definitely more playable now for sure. Like, I don't know. It was even playable before, some good echoes have told me, but for me personally, it felt very unskilled. I don't know. You have like the... What is that? Are you like a league partner?
No, it's Xbox Game Pass.
Oh shit.
They're doing a... I don't know if they're doing... where they're doing it, but they're doing a... If you just have a Game Pass subscription, then you can play all heroes.
Oh, that's crazy.
But that was when I was trying to figure out who I want to be, so I probably could afford everyone now with Blue Essence. But...
Wait, you just got them all for free? I mean, that's actually a lot of value.
You just play it. This was a promotion they were doing. I'm sure they're still doing it because I still have it, but I can just play anyone. But I can't like unlock skins with them unless I have them though.
Crazy, honestly.
Yeah.
Because like usually it takes so much time to unlock all the champs, and you just get them.
That was a super big. That was one of the big turnoffs for this game, honestly, at first. But then around the time where I started, then they released this. So.
Yeah, nice. And then Ekko was the champ that you liked the most.
Yeah, and apparently yesterday, then I don't know if they're still doing it today, but you can buy chromos with Blue Essence as well.
Yeah, the Essence Emporium comes around every now and then.
So I just got them all. Let's see.
Yeah, nice. I like the white chroma the most.
Yeah, me too. So I've been thinking, why do you go Dark Harvest so much, or like?
I've just been trying it out.
Experimenting.
Yeah. I've been experimenting, and I don't know, like looking at your match history. Also, I feel like I really need to try out like this setup again. I don't know. Like Dark Harvest feels good in some games where of course you can stack it, and then like it feels like it broadens your like carry potential, I guess. It does do
Yeah.
that, but it definitely does feel bad in games where you don't stack it, or like I thought it would feel worse. That's why I think like I was more open to it as well, but it still does feel quite bad. I don't know, but I also just played pretty bad the last couple of days where I played, so I feel like it's just not. I might even like experiment more, like, and I feel like the optimal way to go about it in general, anyways, is to just like always adapt, right? Like always adapt and see
Yeah.
which page makes the most sense. I feel like in some games you might just take the Dark Harvest because you feel like you need that extra scaling against certain champs, and then in other games you might take the Electrocute. For example, let's say against Lee Sin, you might want to take the Electrocute just so you can actually maybe win the jungle matchup against him. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then like for example, first strike you can take in games where you really don't feel like you have a lot of one shot potential. And then with
Yeah.
the
It feels
smites
like
as well. Yeah. Like
yeah, when I go feels like when I go Dark Harvest or when I used to, then the pressure meant I don't know, man. I like the
yeah.
electric a lot better. Like the pressure to just jump in lanes and like you have to stack it was like
I think the Dark Harvest is definitely the rune page that like takes the most skill. Like if you're really good at Echo, I think it can definitely be like a nice rune choice, and like I think most good jungle Echoes play with it as well. But like for that reason, I assume. And like as I said, I think it definitely allows you to 1v9 some games more for sure.
yeah.
So like sometimes that's nice, but other times where you're just not where you're making mistakes and whatever, then it definitely feels worse.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as I said, I will mostly be quiet and just write down the stuff. Your
Okay.
minimap's on the left. Is it in Dota? Is it on the left as well?
Yeah, yeah. I hope it doesn't mess you up, but
No, no, it's fine.
I it was I think you start with it on the left in Dota, so then when I jumped here I just switched it.
Very interesting team that they picked. I mean, honestly, like if there's ever a game where you should build Naturals first, I feel like this is one of them. They're literally 5 melee champs.
Yeah. And I was thinking since they're all AD, do I want to go the armor instead of the health on this rune stats?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I didn't really look. Yeah, I think it definitely has pretty great value here. Although like the health just scales a little bit better. I don't know, but it definitely still feels good. It depends on the items they build, I guess. If the armor is better or the health, like lethality and
Alrighty.
stuff affects it. Why did you have to auto attack them? I'm confused.
What? Oh, I missed the first out.
Okay.
Nice.
Are you going blue smite every game, by the way?
Yeah, I have been.
Okay.
Just 'cause I like the speed, but
Mm-hmm.
that was one of my questions I was gonna ask you. Of just like when or what to do. I've
Yeah.
watched your video on it, but I think that
I mean, my
feels
like
good.
I'm always changing my opinion on that kind of stuff as well, honestly.
Ah,
I would have also expected him to be there, to be honest.
Or that he wasn't. Yes.
Your team might be like too good here as well.
Yeah, they're really killing it.
I mean, it's like not the best game to learn from if everyone's stumping. But
Yeah.
if it's like actually stumped like that, we can just look at like a replay or whatever of a game where you
Yeah.
maybe felt like you should have won or something.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, feels like it's pretty rare for them to do this well early game. Holy cow, well played.
But that's still the level 1 crap, I'm pretty sure.
I thought he had cleared it. Oh, he's far behind.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying, right? Like in this elo, if you just jungle the way, because actually didn't have to write down any like mistakes jungling wise or whatever, but your opponent has made mistakes, and that's why he's like 2 levels down on you already. So it's
Yeah.
like this is why the game should be so easy for you, just because you're so much stronger.
It's a weird team comp on them.
Yeah, for sure.
Ah, I forgot you suggested the Nashor's.
Yeah, it's whatever. I mean, wait, can you still
Or
buy
it's
it or
still
no?
built in.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
I can still buy.
I think you should try it out this game. I feel like, especially if you're ahead or if you're like in a good position, you can definitely go it here.
Man, played with another skin last night, so I feel like I cancel autos.
Almost solo.
I probably should have got one.
I
Is
mean,
it worth waiting
yeah,
here for?
100%. Like 20 gold is nothing. You're not really pressured to be anywhere, and it's such a massive power spike. I think
Yeah.
like up to 30, like for full item completion like that, I think you can even wait up to like 30. Like, depending on the game state, if you really have nowhere to be, you can also wait fucking 50 gold if you want, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it always happens. Like, if you need to be at like Herald or need to be in a certain lane or whatever, then like, of course you want to wait as short as possible or in general, but for power spikes like these, it's definitely worth. See, like now your first item completion was at like 9 minutes something. That's of course really good.
This is gonna be a bad game to watch.
Yeah, that's whatever. I mean, there's still like some small mistakes I guess you made, but like really nothing major so far.
Alright. And generally I think this is about how I play in the early game, so
Yeah. I think like you should easily be able to reach diamond or something like that. I think like the biggest thing that will improve you as a player in like very quickly is just turning off the indicators. It's just gonna make your mechanics smoother.
oh, I missed. Nice, they might pull it back. Man, Nashers feels so good actually.
Yeah, it does. When you don't need the rocket belt, it does definitely feel nice.
Yeah. So good.
And especially when you're ahead. Like I think when you're not ahead, it doesn't feel that good because then you're just at a much bigger risk of dying. But like when you're ahead like this, then you can just beat people down.
Yeah, it just feels good.
Gonna take the wave from her. Come on, buy Magi's
Yeah.
for the content.
I actually don't buy Magi's as much as I feel like I should.
And
Do
boop
you
boop.
generally
Buy
go
boots here.
back
Buy
to
boots
back
here.
these? Or
No, yeah, the Sorks. What?
do you ever go back to back like Lich or Nashers?
Nah, not really.
Or do you go
I've wondered if
one
that's
or
actually as bad as like people make it out to be. I don't think it's as bad, but you definitely like the Rabadons, of course, is just like a really big power spike. The having like it usually like it doubles your AP basically, so like goes from
yeah.
300 something to 600. That's like Ekko has such high AP scaling, it's for sure really good.
So you generally will it's either Rocket Belt first or second item, then Rabadons.
Yeah, like Rocket Belt, I actually like always first. I really never go Naturals first, even in those kind of like these kind of lobbies I never play in anyways, where it's like genuinely 5 melee champs. But like, there's definitely some people that like going for the Naturals first, but I really don't like it. I feel like the defensive value as well and stuff from Rocket Belt is too high for me personally to pass up on it.
Yeah. Oh, you meant go Nashers first after. Is that what you meant?
No. Here I actually meant first
Okay.
because like this is like an actual game where you can just get away with it and it feels good as you can see. Could have killed him as well.
this is weird. They actually do feel worse than normal.
Yeah, I mean,
It feels like
like
we're supposed to do better
yeah,
here.
sometimes you just play against bad players. Like happens in my elo as well. And of course, like Ekko at this point is just an incredibly unfair champ as well. So
Yeah, it's... And I haven't been going Magi's very often, actually.
I think you should. Like if you're in good positions, and you, especially when you have flash up and like you just need to have a decent read on the game, right? You feel like you will be able to get more kills, so you feel like you'll be dying very easily or not. Like in this game, the answer should be like no to the second question.
Yeah.
So see, now you had the flash up, so you didn't die. And like maybe in other situations where you didn't have it up, you would have died here, so the Magi's buy would have just been a little bit worse. But of course, you also could have just not made that mistake. So you just need to be more cautious, I guess, if you don't have flash up.
Yeah.
But like generally, that's definitely the two biggest deciders. It's like, do I have 10 stacks? And then the second biggest is just like, do I have flash or not? And then obviously I will also take into account just like team comps. Sometimes like a Malzahar, Lissandra, these kind of champs, if you play against them, it's kind of risky because they just point to click CCU. Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
you're just farming them like minions.
It does feel weird. They are not this bad usually.
Honestly, like you could go Rabadons here before Rocket Belt even, just for fun.
Maybe I'll do that. I feel like I'm
With
pretty
so much
unkillable.
gold. Yeah. And like you really don't, like this is a perfect example of a game where you really don't need the Rocket Belt. Like yeah, sure, they can always run away from you, and then maybe the... Jeez, yeah, we'll definitely take a look at like another game as well. This was not a great representation, but it was good to see. Like, I think, as I said, I think you can easily reach diamond just with this like early game already. Like, because it's very consistent the way you played. You don't make many stupid mistakes, and there were also some situations where you could have definitely played much worse, like just decision making wise. And like you also, as I said, I think the biggest thing that will improve you is just turning off the indicators.
What do you mean by that?
Like the ability indicators, you know. So you don't see like your Q range and whatever, because at this point you've played a bunch of like you should be able to just like know your ranges.
I didn't even know you can turn those off.
Shit. I will show you in a second how you can do it. Right. Yeah, it's like it's just gonna make your combos and whatever so much quicker, right? And like I can already see your combos are completely fine like this, but they will just automatically be better as soon as you get used to playing with that. Let me just go to practice tool, I guess, and show you. Alrighty. Share my screen.
See you. I'll watch you. Okay, I think I can see you.
Oh shit, he has true damage icon on this account. Crazy. This is like some viewer's account on an A that I use for watching stuff. No, but that's like actually gonna be a big thing for you, I think. Because if you maybe feel like you're sometimes too overwhelmed in the late game or whatever, mechanically just pressing all these buttons twice is like you always have this, right, where you see it. But like I'm just pressing Q and now it comes out, and it's like
I can't see yours. Let's see here.
Can you not see?
Well, I can see mine for some reason.
Yeah, just turn yours off. I think you need to rejoin the stream.
There you go. I can see yours.
Okay. See, like I'm just pressing Q right now and it just comes out. And for you there's always this indicator. Yeah. Where, like this, right? So all you need to do is like, I don't know if you have like the full indicators or if you have this one. Like, there's two modes. This is like full. There's like full indicators. So now I pressed Q and now I need to left click for it to do. Is it like that for you or is it like?
No. Mine's.
It's like this. Okay, so you have this one turned on. It's like where you hold Q and then you can, right? Like you can release it. I think you should still turn that off. Like for some champs it's fine to have it turned on. But I think for a champ like Ekko, it just makes your combos like unsmooth in certain situations. Like especially for your E, for example. Like your E is a spell you really want your E to just come out instantly. You don't ever want this indicator. You just want it to always be there. It's just a little bit slower, like just a tiny bit. But for a champion like Ekko, it definitely does matter. So just like turning this off, it's just gonna make everything smoother. So
Okay,
yeah,
I can see that.
it's a very small change, but it's definitely gonna have it's definitely gonna have an impact.
Where do I see that? Or in game?
Uh,
I'm sure, I guess you probably just barely showed me, but
it's just like the first tick in the
okay,
hotkeys
yeah.
thing. Replace quick cast indicator or whatever. Siegfried, by the way, like I mean I can look at your Ekko gameplay, but it's not for free. Like I can I do game reviews as well for like 25 euros. Like
Okay,
just
let's
game
see.
reviews.
Are you
Yeah.
watching my screen?
What? Why?
Did you say, I guess I have already checked.
Right. You turned off your screen or like your screen share.
Oh, let's see here. That's right.
Let's see. Yeah, this one needs to be turned off. The upper one. And the lower one I have turned on. I don't know exactly know what it does, but I would just turn it on.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it does exactly what it says. Recast the press spell upon pressing another spell.
Back-to-back spells.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it has any impact on Ekko, but yeah. Okay, let's just get into the game review, I guess. As I said, there was really not many mistakes. One thing I wrote down was like in certain situations you didn't look at the lane where I wanted you to look at, in the early game especially. Like after the first crap, you didn't look top, and I feel like you should have definitely looked top before deciding to go to jungle again. But that's like it's a small mistake, I would say. Like it's not like a small mistake, but you only did it like that time. You didn't do it all the time.
Okay, and then there, how do I make sure I get all raptors?
Yeah, right. What happened here? Just walk closer. Just walk farther. I mean, like I usually just stand here. Like just stand there. Here, for example, I like to use the indicator. Just like, or I don't need to do it at this point because I have done it so much. But like, just use the indicator and then make sure that you can see right with the indicator where it opens up. So like, just stand further back. You're just standing too close here, so it just opens up a little bit too late.
Okay.
So like, just keep standing here. Like, just stand here. Throw your Q, like aim it really in the middle, honestly, and then you will hit all of them. Like, see, that one small step, and you just aimed it like this, right? And you can see, it opens up now, it opens up back here, and it could already open up in the front here. But like, this is really, I mean, for you, I guess looking at the small stuff definitely matters more than for other people. But, yeah. And here, everything fine. Let's see, like, should you have ganked bot here? Probably not now. They're pushed in, so just recalling here, completely fine. You see how much gold you have. A little bit too much, but, like, again, this is small stuff. These are, like, like 5 seconds you're wasting or whatever, and, like, if you make a wrong decision in the game, you're wasting 30 seconds. If you die, you're literally wasting, like, another minute or something, so it's like these small things, they do matter at a certain point, but the biggest reason I'm still telling you is just because it's kind of easy to fix, of course. Yeah. So while you are like going out of base, of course, always look top. Especially like you can also look mid, but especially look top. I think it's the easier lane to gank most of the time. Then here you should definitely be.
Could have went straight up there.
Yeah, I think in this situation I would have definitely done the blue first. See, like she's also pinging. I know the Camille's pinging for help, but yeah, like you can look to dive here, in my opinion. If you just go there now, like this wave is big enough, I feel like it should be a holding. Tiny bit risky because your Fiora is not playing with Ignite, the Camille is, but he's also not playing with Flash either, so... Yeah, I mean...
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, and also, of course, we saw the Amumu here, right, like walking into the jungle, and like, I don't know, he should have honestly tried to contest the crab, in my opinion. I don't know why he didn't. He was just very bad, I guess, right? But so I would have also expected him to go for this here. So this is definitely a better opportunity. To just go and try to kill the Amumu here. I think you really didn't have to like stand back here for so long though. I think I personally would have just ran at him and see like, especially because we saw his HP, right? We saw his HP, you have the Dark Seal advantage, so if you see him, like, he will have to flash away probably.
That makes sense.
Especially with the Brusher, he might just face check into you and then you should be able to win. Although it's a tiny bit risky since your mid can't move. But your top is moving, so I feel like you should be winning that 2v2 for sure.
Even the fact that top came down, like, I feel like I've never seen that. Like, this was a weird game.
Yeah, very, very uncommon experience. I think also in-game I thought already, like, I think your W, if you were gonna place it more here. Because I don't know if you know this, but like the first crab, it always moves like this in this direction.
Okay.
So that Mumu is probably not gonna be here, and I think you also placed it a little bit later than the spawn anyway. So the crab is probably like here or something. Let's see. Yeah, see, it's exactly
Yeah.
here. So just like this is one of those experience things, right? Like I have the experience. I know that it always moves like this. You have not played League since season 6 actively, so of course it always changes as well a little bit. But like
Yeah,
the crab,
that
it does move like this. So I think a better W. In general, also I think the W placing it in here would have just made more sense. So you have the vision as well, since like he might be waiting for you here or something.
True.
Who knows? And
I
then getting the
forget that
vision
my W
there.
gives vision.
Yeah, it's definitely a good tool in certain situations, and like I also don't use it as actively in that way that often, but in these situations it's definitely good. So yeah,
That
you
makes
just get it
sense.
uncontested, and this is where I wrote down like I think here you need to look top again. Like before here you didn't even look top, you just went straight into your jungle, and like you could
Yeah.
for sure look top here and see like to even see if this guy's low. I don't even know if it's the right call to go for it here, because I mean first of all he's warded, which you don't know of course, but she's also not that low, and like Camille, she gets her passive shield, and then she can ignite you, and then maybe she can trade kills if she plays it well. So it's not even the most free dive here, in my opinion, especially since, as I said, no ignite on the Fiora or anything.
But you're saying just to look.
Just look, like just see, and like have the info, and like maybe if she's another 100 HP lower, you should be going there 100%, right? Like here, it's in my opinion, it's a little bit of a coin flip. And also because Amumu can easily be here, right? We saw him moving into his top side jungle, so could for sure be there as well. So it's definitely a little bit of a risky play, but it's just something where you should look. And then, I mean, you were looking mid, I'm pretty sure. But you didn't make the decision to go there. I think, like, I don't know, this guy is, of course, really low here. Well, the Ari actually solo killed him anyways here, so, yeah, whatever. Definitely something where, like, now you should be looking, right? After level 4, it's definitely a moment where you should be looking. Yes, there's also the merit of just, like, keeping your jungle pathing nice, but I think, like, I have also experimented with that recently, and I think, like, having good pathing is a little bit overrated. Like, it definitely does matter in, like, challenger games and whatever, where everyone has good pathing. But,
Yeah.
like, I think in these games, having impact on your lanes, and, like, even in my games, still, like, in low mastery games, I think just having impact on lanes and like, abusing people's mental illnesses and that kind of stuff, it just, like, wins you more games. It really does.
That for sure makes sense.
So, yeah, and like getting kills, of course, is a really nice way to snowball games. So, yeah, just jungling down here, of course, like, as I said, I didn't really write down many things because I don't think any of these choices are mistakes. And then here, I think you even get, like, nice free kills soon. Was it before the first base or after? I don't... Yeah, also here, the fact that you take this wave, very good. Like, very nice. The Ari couldn't catch it, so really good. As Ekko, you really appreciate, of course, getting those this extra gold. Of course, you don't need to go as low here, right? Like, respect the
I could've
Nefiri
positioned
more.
better. Yeah.
Just, like, don't get hit by the second Q, especially, like, the second Q is what really hurts because it crits or something. But also, it doesn't really matter a whole lot here because, well, you just go back into your jungle and then you don't really care.
Yeah.
And, like, here, these guys are so low that you also don't care that you're half HP here.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
So, nice free kill here. A little bit, like, tiny bit unfortunate, I guess, that you didn't get the first one, but, like, they flashed and, like, the Lee flashed under tower and whatever, so...
I think if I would have went not around, what do you think? Should I have gone straight down instead of through the
No.
river?
I think that's always... Like, that's a common mistake I see from people, is where they... For some reason, they don't have that mindset of just going behind the people. So, like, but it's definitely good that you have that one. Like, just go behind. Like, why? See, if you go from here, they have maybe like a split second where they could turn around and, like, flash away or something. If you're, like, already behind them, you just path in a way where you're just cutting off. Like, it's basic geometry, basically, you know? Where you're just, like, cutting off their path and they won't be able to get away because they need to walk in, like, this curve and you can just cut off their path. So, yeah, like, generally you always want to just gank from the river. Unless, like, I think there was a situation later on, actually, where you... were also thinking, and then you made the choice to go in because they were already quite far forward. So, like, sure, then you need to go there. But, like, in this situation where you have enough time, just go from behind. Like, maybe you would have gotten the lead if you ran straight at there, but then also maybe the Aurelia would have lived as well. So the Velka still gets the kill, so it's definitely fine here. Like, this is for sure not a problem or anything. It's just, as like, you just love getting early kills, of course.
Yeah, for sure. I've noticed that
Yeah.
sets up your game pretty good.
Yeah, I think I personally, like, it is also not a mistake. I was thinking, like, I thought, what are you doing here? Because I was gonna write down like recall. At this
Yeah.
point, you definitely want to recall with this gold, but you just went for a ward. I think that's not a mistake. I don't usually place these wards. I wouldn't expect the Momo to be able to do the Drake here, but again, it's really not a mistake or anything. It's just something I personally
Yeah, I
would
feel like
not always
I
go
feel like
for.
when I watch higher elo games, then yeah, it seems like they wouldn't, but it seems like in my rank, then a lot of teams throw from early drags or from just drags in general. Like we just throw.
Yeah, it happens. It happens so much where people just go for Drakes they shouldn't be going for. That's so interesting. We didn't know about this in game. This is what Momo is doing here.
Oh yeah,
So
he tried to invade.
he just ran in here, left some wards, and like got nothing done. Just wasted his time. He could have cleared his jungle. Like this is what I mean, right? This guy is like he thinks he got something done, but he really didn't. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, cool. You left some wards. Then we know about you, and then you still get fed after. Like people overrate vision, so it's like.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter. Like I usually buy my first control ward after I have my rocket belt, and like some people buy it even less, I guess. And then also very good here. We saw the Amumu top, and then you instantly ping for Drake. It's like especially Infernal Drake's like the best one in the game, especially for a champ like Ekko that has insane AP scaling. So and buys Rabadons as well. Like someone in my Discord made the math on it. Like if you buy Rabadons or whatever, I think the value of Infernal Drake is like 700 gold or something. So that is like it's like 2 kills.
That's one Infernal?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Like after the Rabbanus, of course, only, but still, or like after full bit maybe even, but still, it's a lot. I think one small nitpick here is I would have personally just done the crap before the Drake. Like just because if a fight breaks out here, it's nice to have the movement speed here. It's nice to have the vision as well, of course. And like there's no real reason, like you literally one tap that camp at this way, especially because it's like the level 1 crab anyways. But even if it was the other crab, just take it, you know. It takes such a short amount of time, and it gives you like a nice. It just gives you the advantage in case the fight breaks out, right? Like here you have pressure from all your lanes. Like this was just such a stomp. It's actually insane how like your team played also basically perfectly.
Such a shock. It's a shock. Like honestly, I was hoping not necessarily that I'd lose because I care about my rank, but that it'd be like a struggle.
Yeah, as I said, we will just take a look at maybe a game where you felt like you should have won or something. I guess it was like one of your biggest mistakes, honestly, going mid here. I think you just need to realize, especially without the rocket belt, you're not gonna reach that champ, right? Like Nafiri has one dash, or like E, where she can always just E out of your W, and she's already so far away. This is also pretty likely to be warded. It wasn't even warded here, but like, I don't know, without the rocket belt, you just don't have the range. And like also, she's full HP, so I don't even know if you have the kill pressure. Like you're doing well here, I guess, but you're also you only have 1 kill, right? You have a bunch of unspent gold, so you're not in a position to really kill her alone, anyway. So this is just a waste of time. Just go to your jungle.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But again, like a pretty small mistake compared to like a lot of the mistakes I see in most of my coaching sessions. And also, you didn't waste a whole lot of time here, right? It was like you're looking. Of course, another reason you also don't want to go here is just because now you're showing mid, right? Like you're like kind of giving other lanes the security that you're not there. Because of course, after doing Drake, you could also be looking to maybe dive bot or something. So just like showing mid gives them the security that you won't be doing that.
Yeah.
Like sometimes that matters more than other times, of course. And like especially in this elo, I don't think people abuse it that much. Like in higher elos, people definitely abuse it. Like when they, like sometimes people feel like they have kill pressure, but they don't go for kills because the jungler might be around, right? And then if the jungler shows anywhere, they instantly just go in. So this kind of stuff, it's why you definitely don't want to always show. Yeah, this was the situation I meant, right? Where you were thinking about just going above, which is generally correct. But then you saw that they were like hard engaging here, and they also used their like movement spells anyways to go in. I mean, like these, well, Irelia and MMO only have movement spells that go in no matter what, but so like they really had no way of escaping, so you can just run at them straight away here, of course. And also you want to help your team, of course, so they don't die. Definitely the right choice. They still died. I'm actually like, oh, okay, yeah, well, in game I was not sure if like your E auto attack bugged a little bit or something, but it was just like you auto attacked her and then she Q'd on the Vel'Koz. So that's where you got the kill.
Oh yeah, I tried to
right, because you stayed here, but you still got the kill. I was a tiny bit confused, but yeah, okay, I guess that was happened. And then, yeah, you just chase him down. That's good. Yeah, you cancel a bunch of auto attacks here. Like, actually only one, that's fine. Happens. Yeah, and then just base. Like, there no reason to risk anything with this guy. You also have your, like, power spec here, the Nashers, so really solid base. And at this point, like, the game is in your hands for sure. Like, it really is.
And I feel like sometimes I actually throw these kind of games.
Happens, right? Like, everyone throws these sometimes, but of course it's about, like... It definitely happens, or it's definitely, like, about how you throw, I guess. Like, do you throw because you just made, like, really stupid mistakes, or do you throw because, I don't know, you just didn't know how to close out? It's obviously different, probably, but, you know. I guess the way you're pathing here also is fine. Like, usually, of course, I like keeping the path in a straight line. Now what you're doing is, like, last time you pathed, I think you pathed down, I'm pretty sure. And now you're, like, pathing up. But I don't think it's a big mistake anyways, and also because you could be looking to the Herald here. It's like, just clearing your camps. Yeah. So, like, this is definitely not a mistake or anything, it's just... Like, oftentimes you would rather clear just, like, down, but if you actually have the plan of going topside, then just clearing upwards like this is probably optimal.
Yeah.
Got the Herald here, then I think we see the Momo. Here definitely there was one small, like, mistake where you didn't take a nice ult opportunity, where you would have hit both of them. So, like, one of them got away. Very good. See, like, this is good, right? Just like these the fact that you have these fundamentals where you, like, some players in your elo, they wouldn't make that step backwards into the W. Like, that's so important. The fact that you value your shield here, like, you understand that it's, like, part of your kit.
Yeah, that's good then.
See, I think here is exactly, like, you can't see it in the replay for some reason, but, like, I'm pretty sure your ult. I'm, like, 100% sure your ult was exactly on them here. And, like, just take those opportunities. Yeah, like, that's definitely a nice skill expression of Ekko, and he's, like, super satisfying, right? Like, now it's exactly on both of them. And, like, okay, he could have flashed away from it. Like, before the flash, it was perfectly to hit both of them, and then I'm pretty sure you kill the Camille as well. And especially because you proc your passive again. Like, you generally just want to proc your passive as much as possible, not only for the damage, but also, of course, for the movement speed. So, like, see, you really want to, like, now your priority should be to just proc passive. Because it will allow you to just stay after the Amumu, even if he flashes away and whatever, anyways.
Oh, that's right. I think, so, like, yeah, I tried to, that's what it was, I got stunned.
Yeah, exactly, but like, after being unstunned, like, now ulting would just have proc the passive, and then insta-killed the Amumu, of course, and then the Camille would have for sure not been able to escape.
Right.
So, yeah. But it's still fine, you got one of the kills. Get the Herald, I guess, here. And then you're just stomping them anyways. And then this guy even disrespects. What?
Oh yeah, I don't know what.
I mean, really, like, definitely also really good W here. That you, like, I don't know what this guy's doing though. Like, he's such an idiot. He could just, like, E out now. Could probably even walk. He just wanted to die. Now, this is always what I'm saying. Like, in this elo, it's so disgustingly easy to get kills because people do stupid shit like this. Like, all the time.
Yeah.
Definitely nice, like, nice W positioning, I guess, to stun her there. For good awareness. Also, sometimes one thing you need to think about in certain games, like in this one for sure, I think it's fine to just take the tower here, but in certain games, some laners, they want to keep their opponents in lane, you know? Like, this basically means lane is over because the tower is gone, you know? So, like, people will stand back here and you can't really punish them. Like, it still sucks for them a little bit because they will have to walk here more because, like, they just basically lose this part of the map a little bit because the tower is not there. But, like, it still means that, like, certain champs, let's say, like, a Kayle or whatever, like, a Kayle would probably be happy with this oftentimes just losing the tower because it just means that she will be able to farm safely here, or, like, decently safely most of the time.
Okay. So that's why some top laners get upset with it.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes they might get upset, and sometimes they might even be right for getting upset. So, just, like, don't take them too early. Oftentimes, yeah. I think mid tower, like, taking mid tower, I think nobody ever complains. It's just different. I don't know. Like, mid tower also opens up the map, like, way more. I don't know. It just really opens up all of this area. So, like, I don't know. And also, it doesn't really end the laning phase the same way, I feel like, because, like, I don't know. Yeah, so just be careful with that, I guess, especially with top lane. I don't think, like, bot laners usually also don't have a problem with taking the tower. They just like swap mid, like they just swap with the mid laner, let them go side, and then try to just push there. But yeah, with top you definitely need to be careful with not taking the towers too early. Let's see, did we have vision here of them walking? Not really. A little bit unfortunate that you don't catch them here, I guess.
Where are
Kind
those
of
wolves?
unfortunate timing.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Q would have killed. Yeah, it's like whatever. They're full HP as well. I'm not even sure. Like probably you can take on them because you're so fat here, but you're also not at this point. I think you really just need to make sure not to troll, right? Like this may be what you're saying. Right? Sometimes you are in this position and then you just go for too much. But like the best way to win these games is to just like clear your jungle and then look for like the really safe place, because the enemies are the one that are like pressured to do something here, right? They're the ones that are pressured to get back into the game, and you will slowly win the game anyways at this point, right? Like just make sure to get the objectives and like punish the free stuff, of course, that will be happening all the time, like the big mistakes that are happening, big overextends. Punish that when you're in the position, but like don't force too much. Like the best way to lose this game is just by giving this shutdown at this point, right? Or like flashing for like a kill that's not worth. Like at this point, you should probably not be ever flashing for any kills, right? Like probably not, unless it gives you like an objective. Like if you maybe get a Nash or something, then definitely flash for the last kill or something. But in my opinion, you're just so much more valuable. So having the defensive value of flash is just way higher than getting like an extra 300 gold at this point.
That makes sense. And here, I feel like if they were a little bit better, then I would throw here generally. Like I feel like for some reason I was like, crap, I just threw.
I mean, yeah, the Drake definitely saved you a little bit. I think you might have died if the Drake didn't tank the Lee Sin Q. Let's see, like, do you make any big mechanical mistakes? I mean, Momo just has a lot of CC. Yeah, maybe this was not the right call, honestly, theoretically. And here I told you in game already. Like, I think just kill him as well. You have the movement speed still for another, like I don't know, how much is it in? It's 2.5 seconds, so it's like almost another second here probably. So like just keep running at him. Your E auto attack is also, you're still primed, so you just do that on him and you just auto attack him twice more and he's dead, you know. Like they just take those free kills, especially with the Magus, right? It's another 4 Magus stacks, so like it's another 20 AP that you would have gained here as well. And then also you could have collected this guy as well probably after that.
Yeah, I could have just smited and killed him.
Yeah.
That's my bad.
So like just like these kind of things in this game, it really didn't matter because we were already so ahead. But in some games, just not taking these opportunities might really matter.
Yeah.
Of course, like letting people get away with this stuff. And then here, like the Momo is, I don't know, he's just not. He just has zero awareness, right? He doesn't even consider. Yeah, he just doesn't even consider the possibility that you're invading him when you're 3 levels up. So he just dies.
It's crazy because it seems like, and generally they would never start dragon without clearing their bot side.
Yeah. Yeah, they shouldn't. Like especially not in the position this guy's in. But he was just clueless. Like nothing else to say.
I wasted. Yeah, I think I wasted flash here.
Yeah, here you. Yeah, let's see. Again, like I guess against the Fury, the rocket belt definitely does help. Because one thing that makes this like fighting a little bit awkward is the fact that she has a dash, so you just can't proc passive as easily, right? You engage on her, and then if you don't do it quickly enough, you will she will just dash out of range. But with the rocket belt, you can just do the combos much quicker. Do you feel like you use the auto attack reset of the rocket belt well? Or like, do you use it at all?
That's on my list to help.
Yeah, I guess definitely practice that. Yeah, I guess I can show you as well. That's for sure like something I think you can already definitely start working on. I think, yeah. Honestly, like maybe I don't know, like this season Master is reachable, but I feel like next season for sure, like just with more experience and stuff. You seem to have like very solid foundations. Like I really don't know how much of Dota had to do with that, but or like you said you weren't even that good in Dota, but definitely seems like there's not the
for sure.
I mean, there's not many really bad habits and whatever that I'm noticing in your gameplay, right? That's the good thing. I think with you. There's a lot of players that have played, a lot of players that have played for like years and whatever, they've developed so many bad habits playing in really low elo that It's just quite hard to break them, but you don't have that in your gameplay, not a lot at least. And then they
I
just
feel like
left.
I feel like until I watched you, I actually did have some pretty rough ones. I guess
Oh, okay.
I threw a lot more.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's nice, but it seems like you were also able to like adapt really quickly, or like take it in, I guess, really quickly.
Good to hear.
It's
Let's see here
okay.
if I can find.
Yeah, let me see if there's one game that sticks out to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, we threw this game. Let's see.
I think the best ones are the ones where you have good stats, but you're still lost. I mean, there's a one you don't really have that one, any of those in your game, in your match
On the one
history.
I went 5-5. Oh, can you go more than 20 games?
No. No.
Okay, so on the one I went 5-5. I just barely looked at the stats in my graph. We were actually winning on the overview.
Let's see. Okay.
I don't know if it was
87.
me that threw or.
You're not really hard winning. Like for solo queue, this is really not that much. But
Okay.
yeah, I still like. I mean, we can still take a look at it for sure. It seems like your impact was a little bit low this game for sure. Only 9 kill
Well, maybe,
participations in 30 minutes.
well, whatever you think. If we can. If
Yeah,
you
I
have a
don't know
rough,
if any
we
other
can
game
find
is
a good
better
one.
here. Like I really don't know. But Sirius seems to have popped off. I feel like it's definitely a game where you could have carried, for sure. See this one maybe.
Oh, I feel like my team just inted on this one.
Yeah, yeah, seems like it. Although it's like, even in these games, usually there is something you could have done most of the time, especially in this elo. Right, probably just
Yeah.
mistakes you didn't punish. Like, it seemed like you still were like the best player in your team, but that doesn't mean you couldn't have carried.
True.
Let me just see. I think I'm not sure if this one or the other one you should have won more. I feel like this one's probably even easier to for you to carry. It should have been easier.
Yeah.
So I guess we will take a look at this one then.
Or whatever one you feel like is best. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's hard to tell
I'd
from
rather-
the. It's really hard to tell from the OPGG. Let's just go into it. I'm sure there will be something to learn from like both games. So
Yeah, I should have played more. I've been playing with friends recently, so just like customs and stuff.
I guess like at least Sin matchup is technically kind of difficult, but I think really only in high elo where Lee Sins are actually good. I think in this elo it's pretty decent matchup or like pretty easy.
Lee Sin is tough for me, I guess. Late game.
In what way? In a late game, and I think late game is the only stage I feel like where Ekko should have the upper hand. Yes, like if he builds Mon, whatever, he's still gonna be difficult to kill, but for him it should be so much harder to have an impact in late game than it should be for you. Like, late game is just not like he doesn't scale very well. I guess this game he built like lethality or whatever that probably scales fine, but still.
Yeah, I guess I just don't know the hero or the champ enough.
See, for example, this is a game where I think Red Smite would probably be good. Like now that I think, like if that's something I'm gonna start doing on Monday. Like when I start playing again, where I will really try to actually actively adapt to every single game with my runes, with my smites, with my items. And I think this is a game where Red Smite probably makes a lot of sense in being able to win these 1v1s against the top side champs. Like really just that small thing can really make the difference in those difficult matchups. And then, for example, against Sivir, I think having that slow on the auto attack is actually pretty valuable. It's better than having more movement speed.
Okay, what does Red Smite do?
It slows, like, your next attack, where it charges up, like, from walking or something, I'm pretty sure. And then, like, the next attack, it slows for 2 seconds, for 99% or something. Or, I don't know if it's 99, but it slows for a lot. So, like, it's definitely pretty good. I'm pretty sure it's not 99%, that would be pretty OP for a 2 second slow. But, yeah, it slows a lot. And so, like, especially when you're not fighting near brushes, then, of course, the red smite is, like, always going to be active, and the blue smite is only gonna be helping you if you're next to a brush. So against quick champions like Sivir, it's definitely also valuable. And then, as I said, just like making it also deals some extra damage, right? Like some true damage. So yeah, again, in the future, just stand further back to it, all of them. It's like dealing that extra damage can make the difference in these 1v1s against champions like Lee Sin. I would say this also probably, I think you built Lichbane here. I think you built Lichbane in most games. think this could be a Nasus game. It always depends. I think Nasus is the better, the more ahead you are. Because that
Yeah.
with Nasus you will automatically tank a bunch more hits because you're just playing with your auto attacks more. And with Lichbane you're definitely gonna, or like if you play with Lichbane correctly, you can really take very low damage in most fights and just go and play with your abilities. So yeah, I think that's something you also need to always take into consideration. So I think, yeah, as I said, I think Nasus is better the easier it is for you to stay alive. So it's also good with Green Smite in my opinion, most of the time. Yeah, let's see. Should you have ganked anywhere? Probably not. So just recalling here is fine. Definitely you need to look bot here. I mean, with a lane like this, you can already look for a dive. With Zeref being so low here, and like if the Pyke is not a complete dog, then he can do something, of course, and like either Q the Zeref, then he might not even have to dive, or he just like E's and whatever, and then you can get a kill. But it is a little bit of a coin flip. It for sure is a little bit of a coin flip, and there might be better opportunities, right? So
Yeah.
it's definitely not the consistent play, but it's the play that can win you games. So just like, yeah, I think the best play here is definitely not to go for a dive right away. I think just chill a bit more, clear your jungle here. Let's see. Do you do crap after? Okay. I think, okay, since you have actually, you have info on the Lee, I think you should be doing wolves before crab.
Okay.
It's just gonna
not
make
mess
your
up the
pathing better.
timings.
Exactly. And you have no reason to like be at the crab right away because it's, you know, like you 100% know it's uncontested. So
Yeah, that makes
it's like a small mistake, I would say. It doesn't really mess up your game. Like let's actually see if it will make a difference on your second clear. Like in a lot of games it doesn't if you have any impact, but okay, like here you don't even go right back. So I guess, do you think that it was worth it because they walked weirdly?
Yeah.
Hmm. Let's see. I think sometimes that's, for example, a thing. That's also something, a small thing I noticed in your League of Crafts. It's like your let's see, your like tower dives are a little bit lower than average from what I see from like most people that I'm coaching. Yeah, like kills under enemy turret. Like for most people, for myself as well, it's like 12 to 14%. So it seems like you could maybe be going for a little bit more dives as well. And
Okay.
especially like after level 6, Ekko is really good at diving, of course. And like
Yeah,
here,
I'll do that more.
yeah, I don't know. Like here, I think especially, I don't know if your team pinged or if you saw that the Zera flashed. Yeah, your team pinged it as well. So that's definitely a big reason to go for that dive here. And like, you know, a big wave is coming in here. And your team is also pretty healthy as well. Sure, you have the TP on Ezreal, which is like kind of bad in this elo, in my opinion. In my opinion, I'd prefer them just playing heal or something, like a combat summoner. But yeah, like this is definitely diveable on the Zeref. Like, just place a nice W here. Yes, I guess you thought that it was worded, but even if it is worded, like they will have to completely run away or they will die, basically. Especially since you have the info on Lee being top, you really don't need to worry about him. Katarina just died as well, so you don't have to worry about her roaming or anything. And they didn't even have vision, but even if they had vision, just like force it down, like force it on them. The flashless Zeref has literally no counterplay, especially before level 3, it doesn't even have a stun yet. So if you really like are quick on it and like don't even let them clear the wave, then there's like actually no counterplay. Sure that the Sivir will maybe heal, but I don't think that that's gonna be enough. Like these are the kind of opportunities you just need to take. I'm gonna be honest, like in game probably I'm not always taking these opportunities, but of course in hindsight we can see that this is for sure something you could have went for. And like in this elo, I definitely like, I'm gonna say like in this elo people misplay dives way too much, so it's also a little bit more risky than like in higher elos, but still, I think it's definitely
I feel
doable.
like I'm the one that probably threw this game now that I think about it.
Okay, I guess we'll see.
Because I feel like I might have neglected bot. It's been a while, but I
Hmm.
think
Yeah, I
you're
think
right. Like
bot lane
I
is
have an
definitely the
issue
lane to
diving.
play around generally. It's still, like Riot even said that recently with some of their like gameplay thoughts and whatever, where they said it's technically still correct to mostly play around bot lane. Even though top lane is not like the weakest lane at the moment or whatever, but it's like it's just better usually to play around bot lane win rate wise. So if you can, just do it. Let's
So
see here.
do you often like wait for a gank? Like
No,
do you hide for longer than 20 seconds, I guess, or even that long?
Really depends, I guess. Like it's like such a difficult question to answer. It really depends on how. Like first of all, it really depends on how or if I need to be anywhere, right? Like if you like this is the thing that I feel like you understood already pretty good. Is like after clearing your jungle is basically where you have free time, right? Where you have like genuine free time. And in the early game, that's not super much because you clear your jungle a little bit slowly, so it's like you don't have that much free time. But after you get some items, you clear your jungle very quickly, and then you have like up to a minute of free time before the next camp on the other side spawns. And so in that time, for sure, yeah, you can sometimes, and like of course, also you don't need to be at the camps on spawn anyways, right? But if you can, then it's really nice for sure. So like yeah, sometimes you can invest time here, and I think here you probably could have just forced more, but I'm not really sure what you're waiting for in this position because like it's very unlikely that the sign will walk up anywhere here. Like he has no reason with this wave, like actually no reason.
Yeah.
So just try to gank here, and if he moves away, then cool, you know it's worth it. All right, I'm just gonna recall, no problem. But like this time that you're wasting is like more of a coin flip, right? You're just not getting the info if he does have info, and you're also not really in a position to successfully gank here. Like, see, he's not gonna walk in here. Why would he? Like, sure, so if you take that cannon, she probably just like runs it down or something in my games. Jesus, yeah. Yeah, at this point, I think just helping her get out of this lane by just shoving wave is definitely not a bad thing. Like, some idiot top laners might actually, like, ping you away or whatever, but I think most ones with a brain will appreciate you. Like, this guy fucked up a lot in these past few trades, so... Yeah, I think if you just, like... Here, we know that he has no wards, so, like, just walk from below. I mean, you already showed here, right? You showed here, but then he just kept disrespecting, so you can still punish that. Think, right now, he's just disrespecting. You can walk around here, like, you can just walk around and see, does he respect? He will only respect if he has vision, he doesn't have vision, so... He would have just kept playing like this, and you just come in again, like... Probably should wait for your W as well. Like, I would walk around here and ping my W. So just so my Fiora knows, like, when to play with me and, like, when to go in. And, like, usually I ping it at, like, 10 seconds, and I ping it, like, 3 seconds before it comes up again or something. Just to communicate with your team, with your cooldowns. And then, like, just go from behind, right? Yeah, that's something I think you generally understood, but in this situation, maybe you were just overthinking it and thought that it was gonna be warded. But there's no real harm in finding out if it's actually warded, because you showed here a second ago anyways, you know? So, like, they know you're here, you're not really giving more info or whatever. Like, just find out if it is warded or not, and, like, now you're also losing Drake for it. For the fact that you spent a little bit too much time here and you didn't get anything on top, so that definitely hurts a little bit. Also gonna lose credit. Like, go for this, never mind, the pike went in here. I thought it was, like, the enemy support. Yeah, so if your support is here, then of course you can go for the crab. And if it was the enemy support, then definitely you need to leave it.
Yeah. Wait, you would leave it if that was...
I mean, if it's, like, super contested, of course.
Okay.
But, like, I mean, you can, if you feel strong enough, of course, I guess you can contest. Like, let's see, how much gold... Like, he's not much weaker than you here. Not really, he also has the Dirk, so... Yeah, he's quite low from the Drake, of course, but still...
Yeah.
If they have, like, if they shove in or whatever, you might just have to give the crap, and it's not the end of the world. Okay, it's pretty free kill. Could you not have played that differently? I guess not. She doesn't have a wave. Like, this is a good thing to do against Katarinas. You just need to, like, look at your minimap, or, like, look at your wave where it is, and, like, just, then you can see, right, if she will have a wave to jump back on or not. It's a good way to gank Katarinas.
What do you mean jump back? How does she work? Can she jump on her creeps?
Yeah, she can. With her E, she can jump on, like, anything, on wards and stuff as well.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure on wards.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm actually not 100. Can she wait? Can blink to any location near the target. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, if you, another thing, like, if you feel like you just don't know what some champions do, like, if you're serious about improving, then, like, look it up. You know, there's no reason to play the game with a blindfold on.
Yeah.
Basically, like, there's really no reason. It's just like some, I guess, studying, let's say, that you have to put in, but it's really not that, like, it's not that much. And I assume that you mostly know what most champs do, but if you're just really unsure about some, then for sure. Okay, apparently you can't go towards, but definitely minions and, like, teammates. and like enemies, of
Okay.
course. So I guess wards don't count as like actual targets. So yeah, as I said, like a good way to just like think about if you will be able to get off the gank or not, or like if it's a good timing, is to just look at your wave, and the enemy wave will of course be completely mirrored. So then you see, because if she has a wave that's just coming in under her tower, she like it's impossible to gank. Basically, it's just like a point to click, kind of long range flash for her. So yeah, good timing here. I mean, you didn't even know about it, but you just coincidentally picked a pretty good timing to gank here. And then yeah, definitely look bot here, like, for sure. I think definitely take a camp before for level 6. I'm not sure if that's something you're thinking about here, but
No.
maybe not. Maybe not even. Maybe you can go there right away because you have some minions that like could die and give you level 6. But you kind of missed the timing because you were indecisive.
Yeah.
I think like if you just go straight bot now, like don't even walk around up here, just like walk straight bot now, you would have caught them. So like indecisiveness can make the difference in these situations for sure, and it did make here because you would have also gotten the movement speed and stuff. Yeah, you would have caught them for sure here. You had just like been there 10 seconds earlier, which you would have been, like even 5. It was already kind of close, right? And then even these steps mattered a little bit. I guess you wanted the movement speed. And like still now, you still have a pike, right? So I guess you're still going for it, which is fine. I mean, on the Sivir, she has the spell shield, you can't really go. And the Zeref was able to get out of range. I don't know if you should have went like behind them here, but I don't think it would have mattered that much, to be honest. Yeah, like with the Sivir ult, they're just too quick. So
Well, that's
yeah.
her ult then. She gets a shield.
No, the shield is the E.
Okay.
You're playing like without so much knowledge, that's crazy. Her ult is the movement speed. It gives her and all her allies. Yeah, like really look it up, man. Like, I guess if you're already able to reach this elo with like so much info missing, then like imagine how much easier the game's gonna be if you actually know what you're up against.
That's true.
Like I think the big things to look out for when you're looking at the stuff is just like, of course, cooldowns, damage generally. Like yeah, but those are the two big ones. And then like if you're getting to higher elos, you will also like people will start playing their champs more to like their limits, I guess. And then you will also learn how people use their abilities oftentimes, right? There's like certain spells where people like to hold them for like, let's say Fiora, her W, of course. It's like a massive mind game. You know Fiora W?
Is it the parry?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like that's a massive mind game you need to play around whenever you're playing against a Fiora. So like let's say you're against a Fiora as Ekko, like your W and her W interaction can be game changing or like fight changing. The way when you step into your W, because she might be able to parry it, so you can like mind game around that and this kind of stuff.
Okay. That makes
Like
sense.
knowing this, and like another thing to know, for example, why a big reason why the Lee Sin matchup is kind of difficult is because when he kicks you, he will always be able to land his Q, and like you will never be able to ult. Definitely make sure to get the cannons in the future. Like just like don't be unconcentrated. Just get them. It's like it's almost it's like half an assist basically, which is definitely not nothing.
Yeah.
What I was saying, like for example, the Sin matchup is definitely difficult because he can kick you and then he Qs you, and it's like he can usually kill you from half HP with that. So like you just need to be so careful that you never get below half HP when he still has ult up. So you often just need to ult a little bit earlier against Lee Sin than against other champs. And like this kind of knowledge is what you will, of course, mostly just get with experience, but you can also get by just like to a certain extent just get by at first like knowing what the champions even do.
Yeah.
But yeah, like these more advanced like stuff, it's I guess just something that comes with time, or like even watching high elo gameplay. I think it's for sure something that has improved me a lot. It's just like looking how high elo players play, not even my champ, like just any champ, and seeing how these champions even look like when they're played to their limits. And then you even are often able to come to your own conclusions, right, and like improve yourself.
Yeah.
And like try to limit test more. So I think another thing, like I'm always telling people, I think to really improve, the best way is to just play as aggressive as possible. Like really test your limits. You might lose games, you might lose LP, but you will improve for sure. Let's see if you should have been able to kill the Katarina here.
Man, I really don't know why we lost this.
I think definitely place your W quicker here. Like
Okay.
yeah, I mean she still has the E. And also another thing to know with Katarina is like when she steps into her daggers, her like E cooldown refunds quite a bit.
Oh,
See,
okay,
like
I
picking
didn't
up a
know that.
dagger will reduce this ability's cooldown by, and you can see it's like in the beginning it's like
Wow.
80%, but in the end it's like almost 100%. So she basically just like can dash, and then when she gets into a dagger, it just completely resets. And also her like passive is whenever an enemy champion dies, her ability cooldowns are reduced by flat 15 seconds. So also all of her abilities get completely refunded whenever she gets a kill. So like this kind of knowledge is for sure important, right? To even be able to play around them.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I mean she lived here with like a slither of health. Unlucky. I guess. Wait, let me see. Do you have smite up for her? Maybe you could have smited. Yeah, I guess you could have. And then, as I said, you know, smite would have made the difference here. And as I said, also the W. I think just placing a W, there's no reason not to place it, you know? Especially since
Yeah.
you keep fighting here. Sure, you place it now, that's fine. Forces flash with it, but I think generally just always place your W. Get into the habit of... I mean, you did that in most of the game. Like, you did that in the other game you played, and you also did it for most of this game. But, like, really don't get complacent with it. Your W... There's a reason the W cooldown is 22 seconds, because it's an incredibly powerful spell, and like just don't undervalue it. I think that's definitely also another thing, right? Like if a spell is a long cooldown, you can just assume that it's usually stronger than other spells. So like this kind of knowledge is also important.
Yeah. I don't know if I throw here or...
Yeah, see, for example, here, if the Sin was better, he would have just kicked you and killed you. Like, you were too low here. Yeah, especially with the build he's going for. He's going for, like, a lethality build, so he deals more damage than the average Lee Sin. And you're at, like, half HP. I mean, he doesn't have the Q to follow up, but I'm pretty sure, like... Probably, let's see, how much does it deal? Almost. I think it would have... Yeah, probably, like, another auto attack. Let's see. Yeah, if he would have kicked you, there was another auto attack coming in. Like, smite and kick would have killed you here. So, I mean, yeah, you have armor as well, of course, so... 30% reduced, but he takes away some... It's obviously math I can't do here, but I'm pretty sure would have killed, probably. So, yeah, let's see, what are his runes as well? He might have coup de grace, yeah, so he deals more... He also deals more damage to you when you're, like, below 40%, so that also would have mattered here. There's so much info that you can have, and, like, obviously in-game you don't think about all of this stuff, but... Yeah, as I said. So in this instance, it was actually technically too late. You just didn't get punished because you're not playing in like high elo. And that's another thing, right? Like in this elo, people just don't punish, and then maybe sometimes you can come to like the wrong conclusions about what's right and what's wrong, just because you got away with something. So that's definitely why it's also good to get coaching sessions, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, even if you feel like you're not at your peak or whatever, it's still not a bad thing.
Yeah, I think... Man, I don't even know what happened. I feel like I wasted so much time just waiting and doing nothing. This was a bad call, I feel.
Again, like, always take the crap, especially in these situations where it's, like, contested. I don't know if it's a bad call, because your Swain has pressure here, right? The Katarina's in her base. The Sin is here. Yeah, okay, it's a bad call. You have too much unspent gold. Yeah, okay, it's a bad call.
Okay.
Definitely, like, spend your gold. Like, you really need to spend your gold. You're too weak here. You're way too weak. This guy has so much more gold spent than you. And you could be so strong here. Like, that's actually probably a very game-deciding moment here. I mean, you do seem to get the Drake, so it's not awful at all. But, like, generally this is a mistake, in my opinion, just for the fact that you have not spent your gold. Although it is maybe an okay call, because just, like, your lanes have so much pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense, though.
It's fine, but, like, generally definitely spend your gold. Like, it will just take you way longer here, and if you have to fight, you're just so much weaker than you could be. I mean, you literally have your rocket belt here. And these are the situations where your rocket belt completion timing, right? This is what makes the average time quite high, because you don't take those recalls that you could be taking. So like with one kill, if you're able to get your rocket belt in 12 minutes, you're pretty happy, honestly. Yeah, imagine you just have the rocket belt, you literally kill all of them. You know, there's another reason, like, you could have also just not done the Drake here, because it was not really contested by them. So, like, sure, it's nice to get the Drakes so you can start stacking them up, but, like, just taking the base here, like, maybe take the crap. Honestly, I think taking the crap and then basing is the best thing you can do, because then you will also have a better chance of getting info if they're starting it. Of course, they can just go over the wall, but like still, you might see it if their bot lane moves. So taking the crab here, also taking it away from the Lee anyways, is a good thing. And then recalling, going to your top side. Like, okay, then you need to make the decision. Are they doing it? Are they gonna contest it? If they are, then you definitely need to go to Drake. But if not, I think you just go to your top side, clear it, clear down to your bot side, and then do Drake. Right? That's like the greediest thing you can do, but it's also, I guess, the best thing you can do if you can get away with it. But sometimes you might not be able to actually clear your top side, and you might not have the time if they're looking to do it. But I'm 100% sure you had the time to just recall here, no matter what. Like, there's no way they can rush it before your base here. Like, just get the crab, take the base, and then you will win any fight that's happening here. And that's like the big thing, right? That's what will get you even more ahead here, because you're in a really good position, actually. Yeah, I'm also curious to see how you lost it. Because, I mean, you did even get the Drake here.
I think I felt weak. Or I feel like I was in a good position. I guess maybe I need to learn to...
Yeah, I mean, here you are weak because you haven't spent your gold. Right? You're literally weaker than all of them because you just have not spent your gold. Like, this guy already has a full item completion plus boots. You only have a fucking blasting one tier and 2 Dark Seal stack. That's like nothing. That's something you had at like... When did you have it? At like 6 minutes. So you just... The only way you have gotten stronger, like, imagine you just have more gold here, this guy instantly dies, or like more gold spent. And see, and yeah, here you flashed for it and then you died. Like, all of this happened because you didn't take a base.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So like, this is a big thing. Just like, not being so greedy. You can be greedy the more ahead you are, right? But like, here you are not really ahead because you have not, you have like nothing in your inventory. You have all of it in the bank, but you have nothing in your inventory, so you're just like ahead on paper, but not in reality. And you're also not ahead in levels or anything. It's like, if you are actually ahead, then you can be greedy with your recalls. You can stay on the map longer to just like push advantages, but not in the early game like this. In the early game, you should never really have this much gold. But like, if you have this much gold, then just go base right away. Like, it might happen, and like the way it happened here, I think it was completely fine, but you just had to take that base, and that was such a game deciding impact, right? Like, now you're all of a sudden, you were up 2k gold, and now you're all of a sudden even, because you died here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're also TP'd down, interesting. I mean, you got the silver at least here, was a shutdown. I mean, you didn't get anything of that, but
Yeah.
matter. So it's not all awful, but Pike even died. See. And now the fucking Sign even counter jungle here. I mean, that really hurts now. Damn.
Yeah.
80 Sign is definitely good at counter jungling. He just deals so much damage. It's not something you will encounter often, let's be honest. Like, the enemy top's probably not gonna invade you at like 12 minutes in most games. Not even if you show bot for too long, but like, this really hurts here. Now you're actually quite behind. And like, why are you even going base? Like, there's nothing for you to buy. Yeah, I guess you realize that as well. Could have bought boots or like an amp tome, but that's really nothing. That's not something you want to go base for. That's not something you want to get off the map for, you know? At this point, I think you're still in a position where you can for sure get kills. Like, your team is still doing fine, and like, your Swain is very strong. Another reason, like, pressing tab often, I don't know, I didn't really, like, the game was too short. I didn't really notice if you press tab enough for my taste, but like, you need to press tab a lot and like, just get the info. Understand who's weak, who's strong, get a good read on the game, and then base your decisions off of that, you know? And like, you, for example, you could make the decision to just play with your Swain, let's say, because he's quite strong. You can also look like this guy, you can, for example, super important to see that he's building AD. Like, we know that because he plays with Phase Rush instead of Grasp, but still, it's like, this kind of info, it obviously makes a huge difference. And also knowing, for example, when the Lee Sin has bought his Mercs, his Maw, I mean. Because like, after Lee Sin bought Maw, you definitely don't have as much kill pressure anymore. Oh, you actually still catch him here. Yeah, this W, bad awareness by you, right? Like, you just don't have the awareness that Phase Rush will give him tons of movement speed here, so if you had better awareness here, then you would just place the W deeper, and then I'm not sure if you even kill him, but it's still, like, this W was obviously way too close to you.
Yeah.
And then in general, I think you should have just placed it before engaging anyways. I think like now, like, best way, like, just place it here, and then Rocket Belt in here, just so you cover both of them. Like, why are you holding your W? And another reason, like, place it from outside of vision. Right now, he shouldn't be seeing you, yeah. But you can already place your W, right? The W range is up until here. So from the river entrance, you can always place it into the brushes. like easily even. Like you can place it from here, I'm pretty sure, into the like then it will cover like this area. So just doing that is like it wouldn't even give him any time to react then, you know? Like that's a much better W. And then it will also be there at the time that you need it to be there, right? When you're there as well and you want to start engaging. Like, yeah, get into the habit of placing your Ws from outside of vision if you can. Because, like, obviously this W that you use, it's a 20-second spell, as I said, really important, but it just gave you 0 value here. Because you just placed it a little bit too late. Yeah, here, what are you doing? Just get the grab. Oh, is this guy AFK? You just... Huh? He's just walking past you. He didn't even think about smiting the crab or anything either. What? Like, he could have easily just smited this away from here as well. Like, of course, you also have the agency here. You can just do one more auto attack and smite it away. But, like, this guy could also just Q smite or something. It's like, here it would have actually been a pretty big mistake, the fact that you didn't just go for it right away. Because, well, we just didn't have info on Lee. But then, if you don't have info on something, you should just assume the worst, I guess. Just assume that he could be here. Like, yeah, you should have never gotten that crab, in my opinion. Or not never, but it should have at least been contested. I don't even know what this guy's doing. He literally was completely tunnel vision on top here.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But you also didn't think to stay top here. I mean, I feel like you could have definitely... Like, you're not that much weaker here. You're a little bit weaker. You're 1k gold weaker, I guess.
I think I was just as shocked as you were, so I was like, okay,
yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah. I mean, can you 2v2 this? Your Fiora's doing fine, but so is the Cyan. Yeah, maybe it's the right call to just not go for it, but like with a good W, you can definitely turn like any fight at this point still.
Yeah. And I guess I had ult. So
and you had ult as well, so you can at least go for it. And like, this Lee Sin is also quite squishy, so maybe you can just burst him down and then burst the Cyan down. Like with good mechanics, you can for sure play this. Yeah, and then the way they overextend you definitely need to be here. Yeah, and okay, this is actually a pretty big mistake, right? The fact that you go in here even, we just saw Lee Sin coming out of here, so you should just assume that it's gone.
Yeah.
Like, there's really no reason, and like, you should really be top here as well. Like, you really need to be top here. They're diving, and like, you could have so easily made the difference here. Look at how low they are. The Pike even managed to make the difference, but like, yeah, the Lee Sin should have died here as well. He even has a small shutdown. So yeah. And then like, you're kind of reversing the roles here. You're pushing in mid when the Swain should be doing it, and you should be doing Herald. It's definitely not what you should be doing. Yeah, like, I don't know, be it Herald, like, it's not uncontested here as well, right? Like, sure, you get it, but Lee is still top set.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, like, you got one camp of him, that's nice, but like, it's definitely, you could have had much more impact by just being top here and getting 2 kills probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I assume that it was just because you weren't even looking top.
Yeah. I think, man, I guess it's just mentally, but I feel like I'm generally scared of Lee Sin's.
I think the squishier Lee Sin's build, the easier they are to deal with. Like, this kind of build you shouldn't be too scared of. Yes, like, be respectful of it, but don't be scared. Like, respect the fact that probably with this build, and if he's ahead like this, like he is at the moment here, he's not a whole lot ahead, but a little bit. Definitely be scared when you're around half HP and like maybe even a little bit above half HP. Definitely just be respectful with your ult and whatever, but like it's not like he's a hard counter to you in many ways. Like, he really isn't. You just like, you can dodge most of his spells. Like, you can dodge his Q, you can dodge his E with good positioning. So it's like, he has counterplay for sure. You just need to really be respectful of that ult. And like, if he builds this squishy, you can easily burst him down if you ever get him stunned or whatever, or like your team does something to him. It's like, I think, as I said, I think the lower the Sin, or like the squishier the Sin build, the easier it is to deal with them. Then you die for it. You flash and everything. I don't know if that's even worth, because like, I don't know if you have this awareness, but like, Ocean Drake's pretty useless. Like, Ocean Drake on his own is really useless. The only thing that you care about is the soul. And like, since both teams got 1 Drake here already, it's kind of unlikely that it's gonna go to soul, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because it will be 3 Drakes. Like, see, what does it do? missing health every 5 seconds. I'm pretty sure it's out of combat as well. Only maybe it's not out of combat, but it's just like it's only missing health. You know, it's really not that much.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me just end the chat. So yeah, like it's flashing for this and then dying for it as well is, in my opinion, not worth. Like it's really not worth.
Yeah.
It's cool that you got the steal, but let me see. Maybe you should have lived as well. Anyways, did you even have to flash? I also like and then also going in without the W. Like I would only ever go for the steal like that with W up. Anyways,
Yeah.
like you need that shield here, and then he also can't kick you if you stun him. Yeah, I guess you had to flash into range to auto attack, so that's like
I wonder
cool,
if I should've
but
just ran straight to middle.
probably. Yeah, I
Or,
think
like,
probably
I
you
wonder
just.
if I would have lived. Never mind.
You mean? Nah, I think you should have just deft mid here, honestly. Yeah, like I mean, before even deciding to go for a steal, you should have just deft mid, gotten the crab, maybe even invaded this top side if you have like good awareness or they keep showing here. Yeah, but this was definitely not worth. Even Swain is still doing really, really good here. But so Sivir, actually. She's stronger than Swain. She's more gold. Crazy. Yeah, I guess because she's like... She's good farm. I mean, so does Adriel, but he doesn't have the stats. Yeah. But you're like, at this point, you're definitely one of the weakest members in the team. And it all started from where you didn't recall. Because you were doing so well. You could have snowballed this game so easily, but... not recalling there, it just punished you really, really hard. Because then afterwards you went for a play that didn't work because you were just too weak and everything spiraled down from there. And like especially because you got invaded, which is like very uncommon, but like in this game it happened, so it really fucked you over. You just lost like 2 out of 3 camps in your top set after you already were like off tempo, I guess.
Yeah, it hurt for sure.
And then of course you still have opportunities, especially in this elo, but they just become harder and harder to find, of course. And then, yeah, I mean, you didn't take that opportunity, for example, that was here, because you were just not looking there, I guess. Oops. Let's see. So this is kind of what you need to do at this point, right? You need to look for ways to get back into the game. So, like, I think going for a proactive place, like going for an invade here is definitely good. Let's see how you play this. Okay, you just hard engage on the Sivir right away. But now you just get shredded by the... Oh, okay, you got the shutdown, that's good. I mean, this is what you're looking for as well. Yeah, I didn't even look here, but like... Generally, your biggest game plan should be to just like... to get back into the game is to just get the shutdowns. So yeah, that's pretty good. You got a nice ult on her. Got the shutdowns. Like, even if you die here, it's still gonna be worth. I assume you're probably dying. As long as your Swain doesn't give the shutdown... Let's just see if you should have played this differently. I guess your W is missing a little bit from this fight. I mean, you didn't have it here. Why didn't you have it here? Ah, because you were engaging on the Katarina. Yeah, this is like patience, right? This comes back to patience. You could have just waited until your W is up and then invaded.
Yeah.
It would have for sure made a difference having your W in this fight. Like, then you could have placed the W just in here. It would have probably been good. First of all, for the vision, and then also because it's kind of likely that you're gonna fight there. And then, yeah, and like even now you still just could place it, you know? And this is, for example, another thing where the quick cast indicators are kind of annoying because it just makes all of this stuff slower. You know, like when I'm fighting here, I would just press W once quickly and it would happen, you know, and then I have the W 2 seconds later, and for that time I will probably be able to live. Like, you will have to do another left click, or like, now you don't have to do the left click with this way you had it, but still, everything just takes a little bit longer, and then also... It just overwhelms you more if there's more indicators, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it.
I feel that.
So yeah, just here, your W is just completely missing in this one. As I've said a bunch of times already here, it's like, it's a big cooldown for a reason.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been off cooldown ever since you engaged in the Sivir, so you just, like, now you use it, but it's just too late. Do you even? Yeah. See, like, now it won't even be able to proc. I think even here, you should have probably just done it quicker, you know? Yeah, like... After you get the kill, like, this is the last time you really need to, as I said, like, best way to use it is from out of vision. So I think this is also something I often do. It's like when I turn the corner, I like to place a W, because like now they don't have vision of you, so they won't know if it's cast, and you will often get people stepping into it then. This is a very, very good way to get stuns. It's like, just place it now somewhere here where you will probably fight, and then maybe even live here. Because this guy might jump over, get stunned instantly. You can just like auto attack Q, like either like E auto attack or yeah, you don't have E. Like, well, like, just do something to proc your passive, I guess, and then run away. Yeah, you might still not live because Lee still has ult up and flash and everything, but would have definitely been better. Does your Swain die here? Does he win? Let's see. Seems like he dies. Yeah. So this was like game over. Him giving the 450 gold shutdown, I guess. This is where it really turned. Okay, I mean, got one back, but yeah, the Pike also died. You went for Lichbane here. As I said, I think the more ahead you are, the better in Ashes. I think Lichbane is for sure fine. It will also help you kill like these two guys that are kind of high priority targets here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also saw like just Lichbane has higher win rate than Nashor, so it might just be better for Ekko in the current meta at least. Where like the current meta is so one shot heavy, where like everyone just is able to kill each other in such a short amount of time. So like having that kind of playstyle where you're more bursty is maybe it just fits the meta better. So maybe that's why it has higher win rate. But I see here you use the rocket belt pretty fine, I would say. I don't know if it was like an actual auto tech reset, but you definitely used it well to just get into the range to proc passive. That's like a way where how you often need to use it. Yeah, you actually used this is how you use the auto tech reset. Like, you would not have been able to do that auto tech if you just kept right clicking. Like not just for the range, but also for the fact that see, like you only have, especially with the Lichbane, you need to be good at doing it. Because you don't have a lot of attack speed, you know? So, using that and using the E auto attack reset, yeah, you definitely use it here. Like, you were able to proc the auto attack, so if this is a way you can use it. And I'm always saying this, like, the way you use it doesn't have to be in a specific order, like, it doesn't have to be EQ rocket belt auto attack or something. The important thing is that you proc your passive, and, like, it will always be different, and, like, a big skill of being good at Ekko is just being good at adapting, like, to how you proc your passive. And, like, this kind of stuff, positioning in ways where you hit the return cues, all that stuff.
I definitely see how big of an impact that not buying was. That's
yeah, it slowed you down so much. That was like the game losing mistake probably. Like that was the mistake that made you unable to carry this game because you were in a really good position before that. You even got the Drakes, right? Like definitely hurts. I think now you're just on the... You're not even that much on the back foot, but a little bit, right? You're still 1k gold behind the Lee, and you're just not one of the strongest players in the game, so you're just not in a position to really make the choices, I guess, here. You're just hoping that the enemies make mistakes. Ult. Always ult in these situations. When someone face checks you like this, it feels unnatural to most players, but like, use your ult right in the beginning. Like, take the free hit. Like, ult is such an incredibly difficult spell to hit, that's why it deals so much damage, you know? And here you 100% just kill her, you 100% her, definitely. Like, if you just place your W, wait until she's on top of your clone, ult right away, use all your spells how you would normally use them, you definitely kill her here.
What the? I would never have thought that.
Yeah, just use it. Like, take the free hit here. Like, sure, maybe you will get punished because everyone's around here, but like, I'm pretty sure you just get the free kill here, and then your team is also gonna arrive. You have the numbers advantage. It's a good situation for you. Maybe you can even fight the Drake then, you know? It's like, use your ult. There's another smaller reason why you also want to use your ult. You know about Ekko's W passive, right? Where your attacks deal more damage when enemies are below 30%. So you want to get the enemies there as fast as possible, and like, if you use your ult in the beginning, again, in like certain spots, if you're strong enough, you might even get them below 30% right away with that, and then your E auto attack and whatever, it will all just deal more damage. It's like, yeah, take these free hits where you... This is a very good way to one-shot people. Like, it's probably the best way to one-shot people. Another ult, like, you really need to... You can definitely use your ult more offensively. Seems like that's something you're not doing at all. Like, you didn't do that in the one game where like, we saw, and... Here you also had a bunch of situations. Definitely don't be so scared. Like, it's... especially in this elo, people don't react to it properly anyways. And even if they do, that means they probably just flashed or something, so... It's like you got something for it as well. And it's not like you instantly die just because you ulted, especially when you're able to proc your passive. So like, you definitely use the offensive value of your ult more. And then I can also recommend, like, I think you skilled your ult at level 6 right away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Well,
stop
I
doing
need
that as
to.
well.
That's right. I need to go, and I was also gonna ask. I know it's just a super easy mechanical thing, but I don't. How do I set a keybind to upgrade my spells? Because
Control is
that's the
just it's
reason.
normal. It should be normal with control standard.
But for some reason, I feel like I've tried that, but maybe I
It
just
should
haven't
just be
gotten into
control
it.
control or control E, whatever. Like, do you always do with the? No, you didn't do that in game though. What? Did you?
No, yeah, I did. I just clicked it. I
Really? No, it's with control standard. Like standard is control. Let me see if there's. That's really quick. It's just no. It's all just for the thing here. Well, no, it's 100% with control. Like standard, unless you've changed it.
okay.
And then
Maybe I'll
like
go through and
alt, if you alt double like alt something, it let's say like a karma shield for example, her E. If you alt E, it will always do it on herself. Like some spells that can be self cast, they will always be self cast on you if you press alt at the same time.
Okay.
Or like Lee Sin W for example, he can self cast it with his W. Like he could of course also just click on him, but he can also just press like alt W and then it will shield him. I don't think Ekko's any. I don't know if like alt W does it. I don't think it does. Like on top of you. Would be shocked to find that out today, but I don't think it does.
Yeah. Dang. Yeah. And then it was just a chain feed after that. So.
Yeah, but I think you're definitely ready, like mechanically ready to just incorporate that like old trick into your gameplay as well. It's definitely another nice. It's like very valuable. I'm only saying this. I only started doing it this season, even though I've known about it for a long time, and like I only did it because I failed it like twice. You know, where I was just too slow. But
Yeah.
like it literally gives me value like at least 80% of my games. Because
Are you
first of
saying
all,
not scaling it?
yeah,
Right
not
away?
skilling at level 6 right away. Just like keeping one level up. I usually do it at level 11 when I have not, and when I have not used my ult until level 11. I just put the 2 points in there because like putting 2 points in a fight is like too long, and if you want to use your level 2 ult of course. But if you don't
Okay,
use it
so-
until level 11, you're also doing really well anyway, so you don't care about that too much.
Okay, so do you like sit on a level that long?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in the beginning you will get triggered by the fact that you always have like a level up notification basically, but you'll
Yeah.
get used to it. It is really not a big deal.
That makes sense.
It definitely triggered me a little bit, but it's really not a big deal, and it's so much value. Like, first of all, the fact is like people can't see if you have ult up, right? Like in this elo, people don't look at your ult anyways. Like they don't think
Yeah.
about it, but in higher elos, people definitely look at it, right? They will just assume that your ult is on cooldown if they don't know about the trick at least. And like, even if they know about the trick, they can never be sure, you know? Like they just can't.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and then of course also in some situations it just like you as the Ekko player should have a better feeling for where the clone was than the enemies. So sometimes you can get some really sick kills with it for sure. Like where you just ult back and it's like completely blind, of course. Like people don't know where it was, and it looks very, very cool. And of
Yeah,
course it's just valuable, right? Like it's so the biggest value I get very frequently is just baiting people into place they wouldn't go for otherwise because they just think that my ult is on cooldown, right? Like, and then they sometimes even flash on you or whatever because they think, oh, this guy's really vulnerable right now, but then you just whip out your ult because you just hadn't put the point in it.
yeah, that makes sense.
And it's really not difficult to do, you know. Yeah, I have not really looked too much at the gameplay because I was talking.
Oh, it's
But I
fine.
think the game is pretty much like, I mean, I wouldn't even say it's over. Like the gold wise, it's looking fine. Let's see, like, and you got a kill here. There should be opportunities. Like the best way to get into this game, like the priority target is the Lee Sin, of course, and it definitely hurts that you're the one that's kind of doing fine and the Swain is, and you're both AP, and like the rest of your team is not doing too hot. So it's like it's gonna be difficult to kill this guy, but it should be your priority. Like he has a massive shutdown, and also
So
if you
in this case, sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
no, I mean, it's also like gonna be if you manage to actually kill him, you're probably also gonna get Nash at this point. So, like that's for sure gonna be your best way to get back into this game. I mean, it's of course not gonna be easy. Like it's like an uphill battle.
Yeah. So in this case, would you buy Void Staff before Rabadon's or no to counter Ma?
It's difficult to say. Like generally, one thing I also like to do is I like to buy Void stuff. Yeah, I think in this game you should have went Void stuff for like 2 reasons, anyways. Like first of all, yes, this one is one reason. I would say for the fact that only he has bought MR. Like okay, Cyan has MR if he's like not near anyone, but Generally, like they're pretty or like there's not a lot of MR on their team at least yet. So
Yeah.
it's like it's really only against Lee Sin, and so for that reason, it's not even the biggest reason. I think the bigger reason is the fact that you don't have a lot of gold generation in this game, or not like great. So in these kind of games, I like building void stuff just so I can complete my item. You know, like I can complete another item. So you will get another mythic bonus with that, and of course, like void stuff is just a very solid item. Like gold is only 2,800 gold. Is like 800 gold cheaper than Rabadon's. So it's just so much easier to complete, and also the components are easier to build into. So it's
Yeah.
like for that reason, like it can win you games having that item completion than actually being able to fight a little bit earlier when like sitting on so much gold all the time with the new large rods and whatever. It can really slow down your tempo in games where you just can't finish items. Like right now, you're pretty
Yeah.
weak. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say even pretty weak, but you're not like strong either. You're
Not
just
strong.
you're just doing fine. And like with Ekko, you generally want to be strong. Like let's see how much you do to this Scion. Surprisingly much, actually, I have to say. He's actually, I mean, he's building the squishy build, of course. He doesn't even have defensive build, but he still gets out, so you just basically wasted your time. You lost Nash for it as well. That's the thing, right? After minute 20, you really need to be careful as a jungler showing on bot side, especially when you
Yeah.
don't have full info on enemy team.
That's something I for sure need to pay more attention to is Nasher.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, even like in a high relos, especially where people have good awareness of when you can do Nash, it's like you really, like after minute 20, even really close after minute 20, you really need to be so careful. Like, most teams can rush Nash with like 3 people nowadays. Such a joke. Like, I think
Yeah.
They should either give it like flat 10k extra HP, which might not even be enough, or they should just do it so like if it spawns really early, it still has some like extra resistances or something like that. I think
Yeah.
that's
I for
something
sure
I've
agree with
heard,
that.
which I would like, because as a jungler, it really like it feels like you sometimes can't make the correct plays, which would sometimes maybe be to push a bot wave or whatever when your team's not doing it, just because you're not
Get,
really
like,
allowed there.
one shot at,
Yeah, like you're not gonna reach it if you go on bot side, so definitely sucks a little bit sometimes as a jungler. Yeah, at this point, definitely, yeah, it's getting more and more out of control, this game.
Yeah,
And, like,
it's
you
just-
can see this guy is just so hard to deal with.
Yeah, I think we just lose here. I don't know if there's much more to see.
Yeah, it seems like they just end. Definitely didn't try the killing the Lee Sin enough, honestly. Like, you didn't really try it a single time. And, like, with this
Yeah.
build, just be aware, like, he's obviously not gonna be super easy to kill now with the Maw, and, like, Eclipse actually also, right? It gives you a shield, so it's not even just, like, a full offensive item, but he's for sure gonna be squishier than if you would build Gore Drinker and this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like he should be killable. He should be killable. So just ping, like even ping for your team, like ping a bunch of times in the like 600 gold chat and just make it your focus. And like it might fail, but it's definitely gonna be like your best shot to win the game, in my opinion. Getting those shutdowns.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It was definitely like this was a really important game to learn from. I think for the especially with the recall, because that was also something I
Yeah.
told you right even beforehand. I think that there could be. Because, right, I said your farm is like good enough that you should have the income usually to have better timings, but you just don't. It just seems like you don't go for it. Right? You didn't go for it, at least in
Yeah,
this game.
that's
And I
crazy
assume it
how
happens more
big that
often.
was.
Yeah, that was really big impact. I guess I can just really quickly show you. If you have any question, you can also ask them right now, and I'm just gonna quickly show you some mechanical stuff.
Okay, let's see. When you start Rift, do you ever hit it from the back or like where? I know it's like a super tiny question.
Yeah. I mean, it just whenever the eye opens, just like attack it. I guess I don't know.
Or I mean like initially starting it, because have you ever
Mhm.
had struggle hitting? Like, do you like to fight it back where there's no vision, or do you ever pull out or?
It really depends, right? It just is such a it's a difficult question to answer because it obviously depends on like how contested it is and this kind of stuff. I think the important thing is really to just hit the eyes as quick as possible, and then like you don't even need a lot of items to do it. You know, like the eyes just make you deal 1,000 true damage every time, and like then you will be able to like oftentimes you can just get it for free as well. You know, even when
Yeah.
you're not in a position where you're actually stronger. if you either like see the enemy jungle on bot side or just like they you feel like they might not have good awareness, you can just start it and like just try to do it. But like, I don't know, your question is kind of specific. I guess you meant like keeping it in the pit or pulling it out, or what?
I think you kind of answered it. So
Yeah. So it's like
and then let's see.
really depends.
Yeah.
What's this again?
And then what? I guess I have this too, and you probably already answered it. But what do you look to first back for? Like, what time do you first want to back? Because you mentioned that I back too early or too late.
You mean like with the dark? I mean, Dark Seal is the first one, right? But you take that, so I don't think that's
Yeah.
what you asked.
And then do you wait for void or not void? What's it called?
Yeah, it's like usually 2 to 3 bases is optimal for getting your first item, I guess, if that's what you're
Okay.
asking.
Yeah.
It obviously depends on how many kills you get and whatever, and like how much there is on the map to do. But like, yeah, it shouldn't be more than that, and it usually also shouldn't be less. Like in your game, I think it was like you only had one base where you got the blasting one, and Dark Seal, and then you just didn't have another one. And like that was actually okay, I think, because as I said, you could have had a decent timing there, but in most games you should take another base in between there, getting like either some amp tomes or like the how is it called, hextech here, like hextech alternator, like some of that. It's definitely good.
Do you ever go the hextech portion before the AP?
I've tried it, but I think it's worse. Like it's definitely like if you're looking to have an active playstyle, it's not bad because it helps with that. But obviously the AP helps more with jungle clearing. So yeah, I think it's bad. I think usually you're in a position where you can buy blasting one plus amp tome instead of this. So then it's just so much more AP. You know, it's like 60 AP compared to 25, and the health doesn't really matter in the jungle. Yeah, I actually recently found out that the jungle pets have a health scaling, but the jungle pets don't deal most of your damage in the jungle. So for that reason, it still is more valuable to buy the amp tomes. So yeah, like the general combos, of course, like this kind of stuff you're already doing. And then as I told you in game or in the replay, what you did in that one fight, I think you did like this. So you use so in that way you can use it. The general like quickest combo you can do on people is just like this, where you just EQ and then like you will proc your passive so quickly. And like especially in low elo people don't react to it, but like even in higher elos, sometimes I'm always saying this, you just catch people off guard before they even use their defensive spells, because if you're really good at doing it quickly, and this is how you have impact in the late game as well, right? Like doing these kind of combos on the carries, it's really difficult for the enemies to punish that. You proc your passive, you're just out, right? And if you're strong enough, you even get a kill.
Yeah. So is it EQ auto or EQ rocket belt auto?
EQ, and then rocket belt auto.
Okay.
Because see, this is how it would normally look.
Yeah, just a lot slower.
Yeah. So like if you don't like this. Okay, I don't know why it was like extra slow. This is like fine, right? In the early game you do it always like this because you don't have the rocket belt, but this is just a little bit quicker, and it's of course also the rocket belt damage that's added. So this is what you should be looking to do. But what I'm always saying is like sometimes you might just use it differently. Sometimes you might do like this kind of stuff where you just do it this way. Like it's not always the same combo. The important thing is just proc your passive, you know?
Yeah.
So like just proc it and use the auto attack resets that are available to you, and like you can even practice on a target dummy like this. But like I'm always also saying, use the E attack, like the E auto attack reset. Get used to doing that just by clearing jungle. I'm pretty sure you do it. But, like that's very good. It's like basically their target dummies anyways, right? So just like do it by clearing jungle. Get into the habit of using the E to auto attack reset. Sometimes it's like really smooth as well, where you're like basically doing 2 auto attacks in less than half a second or something. And like especially when you're playing with Lich Bane, you really like it takes your gameplay to another level, incorporating this stuff in your gameplay. But as I said, the important stuff really is to just prioritize proccing your passive, and how you do it, it usually doesn't really matter.
Okay, that makes sense. So now, let's see. I guess I just have a few questions here.
Yeah, sure.
So you answered the rocket belt. So you said red smite is the slow. Like that's when would you go against, like generally who do you go that against?
It's kind of a difficult, like it's something I'm currently still trying to find out, I guess. Like for now, my opinion on that is I think it's best to go for that first of all when your team doesn't have CC, right? Because then the slow helps. Like when your own team doesn't pick a lot of CC, it definitely helps. And then also I think just in like games where you might have difficulties 1v1ing a lot of champions, right? Like early Sin, for example. These
Okay,
like bruiser
so-
type champions, sometimes it might help against them, just giving you more 1v1 potential when you're ahead. Like, because oftentimes against some certain champions that are just kind of strong against you, you might even have good stats, but you're just still not allowed to 1v1 them, like a Riven or a Fiora or these champs. So against them, definitely also helps. But for that, I feel like you're just actually missing a lot of the experience right now to even make the right decisions. So I think it's honestly, it's not a bad idea for you to just stick with the same smite every game and just learn your like experiences with that, and like even maybe with the same items as well. Like even go for Lich Bane or Nashor's as well every game. Like you can for sure reach master with that. Like easily reach master with like just always building the same stuff, 100%.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's like game impacting as I'm thinking then, I guess.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Okay.
That's why I'm also sometimes getting annoyed. Like sometimes people put so much value and they argue about runes and items and this kind of stuff, but like all of this stuff matters like so much less than all of the gameplay stuff, and like people act like it's everything, but it's really not. Like it does matter a little bit, of course, but if you're in fucking gold or whatever, then just care about your gameplay and don't care about the runes so much.
For sure. So then that makes sense. So is green just more durable and more health?
Yeah, and also tenacity. Yeah, but only when it's active, right? The tenacity is only when it's active, so that's definitely something you need to think about sometimes, because like some spells will hit you more likely when they're like when you're at full HP, and some others might not, right? Let's say like a Shaco box, for example, is something where I love building green smite, because most of the time when you run into a Shaco box, it's gonna be at full HP, and then it's just gonna be a reduced duration, and like also you won't take the poke from it and that kind of stuff. So in that way, there's a nice value there, but other CC might just be used on you when you're lower HP, and then you just are missing tenacity. So yeah, I guess the biggest switch out I do in my runes is just taking tenacity on my secondary sometimes. Like, let's say, like these ones I sometimes take.
Okay.
So if this is my standard rune patch, sometimes I just switch it out in games where I feel like because nowadays I've realized that Sorks have such good value, I like building them every game. So I would rather take the tenacity in my runes and still be able to build Sorks. Especially in games where you're solo AP, you really want to be able to build the Sorks. Like, I really have not built Mercs anymore. Like, maybe that's a mistake, maybe sometimes you should still be building them, but yeah, I think Sorks have great value.
Sorks feel so much better.
Yeah, they do.
And then,
but again, also, if you're really ahead, Mercs can still be good, because you're still gonna be able to one-shot, you know? Like, if you're, as I said, like, the more ahead you are, the better it is to build defensive items.
Okay, that makes sense. So now, I guess, just a few more that I have here, so let's see. Why am I losing more LP than I gain? Is that just
it's because you reached like your newest peak elo, I guess. No, it's only because you are like playing in your newest peak elo, I guess. So either it will adapt if you stay there for a long time, like let's say another 100 games or something, or just with the season resets, you know. So you'll just have to accept. You'll just have to accept that
That's so frustrating.
Yeah, but it's like fine. Like your LP gains are still okay. I think it's like plus 23 is not something to worry about. Like there's people in my Discord that are getting like plus 16 and whatever. So like that's where it starts hurting. But like plus 25 is the average, basically. So if you're like plus 23 minus 26 or whatever it is for you, probably it's like that's not something to worry about. Like that's something you can still easily climb with if you're just better.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you go first strike sometimes?
I don't really go first strike. I mean, I've recently been just trying it out, but I guess let's see. Like the reason I go for it, or why I try it out even, is because good echoes are playing with it, and it works for them. You know, like let's see, this guy he's like a friend of mine. He's like literally plays every single game with Blue Smite, every single game up until this week. I think he's trying out Lich Bane at the moment, but like every single game Blue Smite, every single game this rune setup. Like, he doesn't switch up anything, and he's in this elo, which is, of course, really good. So, like, this is why I'm also saying, like, you can just reach these kind of elos for sure. Just, like, getting used to your playstyle and whatever, it has its advantages as well, of course, right? Like, and he always went Nashor's as well before, like, this week. Like, he's just trying it out here, like, told me Nashor's, or, like, Lich Bane Magis every game or something. But, like...
Really?
before
I
before
need to
that.
build Magi's more.
Yeah, Magis is definitely also an item for sure. Build it if you're in a good position. It helps you snowball. Ekko is like the best champ for Magis in my opinion. Like I don't think there's any other champ that's better. Like Eve comes close, I would say, but other than that, I think Ekko is for sure the best Magis user.
That makes
So
sense.
you can see if we scroll here, like he doesn't even ever switch his runes or whatever. He even actually so
That's crazy.
surprised he doesn't give a fuck about tenacity at all ever. So I
That's crazy.
gotta ask him about that.
That's super interesting.
Mm.
So if you're just good, you climb then.
Yeah,
Okay,
gameplay is,
okay.
and also for example, another thing that's like shocking to me. Look at his farm. Like his farm is so fucking low. His average farm is like 6 CS. It's crazy.
What in the world?
Yeah, his playstyle is interesting, and like this guy, for example, as well. Another one. I'm actually gonna do an interview with him tomorrow, in my Discord as well. He's like a tryhard Echo on UNE, like challenger as well. And he always plays with this setup as well. Like this feels like the setup. That's why why I've been trying it, you know.
The
Yeah.
first strike.
And both of them, they also full clear every game.
And they don't do
So-
raptors.
No, not really. Not most of the time. I think Tabor's told me that he sometimes has done it, but for the most part, they usually just full clear. So it's honestly a much more simple playstyle in my opinion, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. If you adapt to it, it seems to be like a very nice playstyle. And this guy, he also plays with attack speed. Tower plays with double adaptive, but this
What
has
do you
small
play with?
stuff. Yeah, I also play with double adaptive, but I tried this as well with the attack speed. I don't know. I don't think attack speed is necessary, but it's really so difficult to tell the difference.
Yeah.
But generally, the value of attack speed is fine. I guess if you go for Lichbane, it makes sense to have the attack speed in the runes. So
That
yeah,
makes
as I'm saying, I think on Monday I will try to really be like very adaptive with my stuff, and then see if it works. If it doesn't work, I might just try playing with this setup for a lot of games. Like, yeah, like my last stream I just played really bad. I played with this setup. I just played really bad. It wasn't because of the runes or anything. So this
Yeah.
setup might be good. And like in general, my take on first strike is that I feel like, as I've said, I think the biggest value is in games where you just don't have a lot of one shot potential. I think then it has the biggest value because you will just still be able to farm gold from people. The big thing you need to think about with it is like that you actually need to strike first, you know. So in like that's something I have not really been able to play around because I have not played enough with it. But it's like in fights where you get caught or whatever, you're just literally missing a keystone, which can hurt you a lot. Like it can just that's why sometimes it feels like you're just weak even when you have good stats. Like I've had games where I was like 4-0 or whatever in the early game, and I just like the fight starts out badly and then you still lose it, and it's like you feel like it would never happen with another rune setup. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
think
makes
just
sense.
pick a rune setup that you like, stick with it, and learn your limits with it. I think that's the best way to climb, anyways, for sure.
Okay, and then let's see, just 2 or 3 more here. You answered this a ton of times, but so you said go Lichbane when you feel like I can blow him up, and Nashers when I have to fight him.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I'm also kind of unsure with all of these things, right? Because that's why I'm trying
Yeah.
so much out. Because I don't want to make these like finite or like finite the right word, but like these statements that as if this was like how it is. Because
yeah.
obviously I'm also not able. I'm not challenger, so there is like some stuff that I'm not doing
mean,
right. I'm not sure if it's like the
pretty
item
high.
building. Yeah, of course. Like
Yeah.
compared to an average league player, I'm still pretty good. But like compared to these guys, for example, they seem to be reaching higher elos with like a much more simple playstyle, right? And like much less variety in their gameplay, and it doesn't seem to matter that much. Like especially the farms. So like Tabor. One thing here, I've watched his stream quite a bit. Like I can also recommend. He's a very nice streamer. But, like one thing he has going for him is like unexpectedness. A lot of unexpectedness in his gameplay. But I think unexpectedness is something that matters much more in high elo because people in your elo they don't even know what to expect, you know. So it's like there's no point being unexpected when like everything is unexpected anyways. Kind of like obviously there's certain gank timings and whatever that people manage to play around, but yeah, like unexpectedness in high elo has some value, of course. But like still, I'm so surprised that he's able to win so many games with the CS. Like it's crazy.
That's So then, what's Tabor's Twitch?
It's like a Tabor just with a 4 instead of the A. So it's like this. He doesn't stream that often, but he streams kind of regularly, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
That
not like a
sounds
big
good.
streamer, but I host him every now and then as well. Really nice
Okay,
guy.
and then last one. When you are personally trying to do better, like what do you look for? What do you try to do?
In what way
Like,
do you mean that?
If you feel like you need, when you're trying to improve yourself,
Mm-hmm.
do you watch replays or what do you watch for yourself?
I probably
personally?
should. I probably should watch more replays. I think that's like the thing is, I make my YouTube videos and stuff, so I watch kind of a lot of my own gameplay with that. But it's not like I watch it in a very analytical way with that. So I
Yeah.
probably I'm just too lazy. But yeah, it's definitely something that could improve me a lot, I'm sure. Then like trying out things, right? Like that's something I. And as I said to you, I think limit testing is the best way. Like just play as aggressive as possible. If you care about your elo on this account, like make a new account and just play as aggressive as possible. Understand Ekko's limits. Like understand, especially how broken that champ is when you're ahead. And like that's how you will really learn. That's how you'll also learn the quickest, anyways. So yeah, I think
That
that's
makes
something I might also have to do that more as well. Like just playing again. Like I always have these phases where I feel like I'm really good and then I just kind of become stuck in my ways. I stop doing stuff like switching up my smites and whatever, and then I also just burn out and whatever. I think another big thing for me personally is just taking breaks. Like I've realized I was so hyped to like climb because I was like after I came back from vacation I felt like I was playing really really well and I think I was, but I just played so many games that it burned me out really quickly and I yeah, it really fucked me up.
Yeah,
I don't
that
know.
makes sense.
It's like take breaks. It's honestly it's like a really important thing for your mental health, especially as a jungler. It's like
Yeah, for sure.
you get blamed for so many things and whatever, and like at some point you just can't take it anymore.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
definitely don't underestimate this kind of stuff. And like outside of League influences your League gameplay a lot. Like your life outside of League, I guess. In my case,
Yeah,
at least,
for
and like
sure it
people have
does.
told me that. Like when you're doing well in life, you're just playing like a god, and then you have days where you're feeling
Yeah.
kind of low. You just don't see any opportunities on the map or anything. It's like it's crazy how much it
for
reflects on your
I
gameplay.
for sure feel that.
Yeah.
Well, last thing I guess, sorry, one more.
Yeah,
Who
no
else do you
problem.
recommend watching? Yeah, I have Tabber and Tryhard Echo.
Like
Or like
yeah, I mean
people
I don't know if
can I
Tryhard
out
Echo
for?
streams, but you mean like Echo content creators or just in general? Because I can also recommend just watching, for example, Midbeast. I like watching quite a lot. I haven't watched too much recently, but I still do every now and then. It's like he watches just like mid lane gameplay of like really high elo players, and like I find it quite enjoyable just watching like really good Kiana players and this kind of stuff. And as I said, like you just see how good people play. Like everyone in these lobbies is good, you know. So they all just play at like a really high level. So you're just seeing what kind of plays these guys go for and whatever. It just gives you a much better understanding. And then I guess for like Echo, I can definitely recommend Zhao Lao Ben. Like he's written like this. Let me show you. Zhao Lao Ben. He does like Echo mid gameplay. And I've also been reviewing his gameplay very frequently actually for a long time. But yeah, I can definitely recommend that. Yeah, he's like considered to be the best Echo, I would say, in the world.
Really? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well I think that answered pretty much everything I have.
Yeah.
So.
Now, I actually kind of like that you answered question because most of the time people just don't have any questions, so I don't even mind that we did like 20 minutes longer.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's super
no
helpful.
problem.
I'm excited to do it.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Yeah, I hope this helped. And of course, if you have any more questions or whatever, you can always just hit me up on Discord and I will probably get back to you at some point. And then
that for sure did help. So
yeah, all right, cool. Have a nice day then.
I appreciate you having me.
All right,
All right, we'll see ya.
bye.